Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Shake it, but keep pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eye. The Bible guy. He reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy. He turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy. Watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
Howdy, folks. Bible Guy here, coming at you live from Northeast Texas. Everyone, make sure you tap that screen. Share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there so we can have some interesting conversations about the Bible. Hello, everybody. Hello, Leaving Faith. Hello, Josh. Hello, Leaving Religion. Hello, everybody. Lathe of Heaven, good to see you. I hope everyone's having a wonderful, what is it, Thursday now? I hope everyone's having a wonderful Thursday. Guys, today I watched the Bible Guy. I'm the Bible Guy. Today I watched the Grand Theft Auto 6 thing on Netflix, and gotta say, I'm pretty excited for GTA 6. It looks fucking fantastic. Cannot wait. Let's see, where is one of these? Boom. Okay, now let's just go over here. Go down like this, and boom, now we have chat available for y'all to see on YouTube. Fantastic. Anyways, make sure everyone that you tap that screen. Share the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends and with your enemies. Let's get the word out there and have some interesting conversations. Tap that screen like Jonathan wanted to tap King David. Tap that screen like the Romans tapped up nails into Jesus. Let's see if we can get any brave Christians who'd like to come up and defend the Christian faith. Or what will most likely happen is that we'll get Muslims who call in because they don't know when it's their day. You all have a totally fantastic, awesome, phenomenal, and cool day. Don't forget, never stress. I like that. That's my philosophy. Never stress. I try to allow as little stress in my life as possible. We got here Leo Philosophy. Leo Philosophy, are you at least 18 years old?
Yep.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
No, but I do disagree with the fourth prompt. I agree with everything else.
You're not a Christian, but you think that Jesus is alive and that Christianity is true?
No, the fourth prompt I agree with. I disagree with the fourth prompt. I think that you can have objective morality and be a Christian. Pretty much all my Christian friends.
So you're an atheist? Wait, do you think that Christianity is true?
No, but I don't think their morals are subjective.
All right. What do you think?
It's based.
So to be clear, you're an atheist?
That's right. Yeah.
You're an atheist. All right. This is going to be very interesting. Do you know what the meaning of the word subjective is?
Yeah. So it's made true by the attitudes of observers, you could say.
It's simply just stance dependent.
Stance their attitudes. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do Christians get their morals from?
They get it from God, but not necessarily God's stances.
Then from God's rear end? What?
Have you heard of? Do you know what divine simplicity is?
Yeah, but like divine simplicity just pushes it back. Yeah,
theology.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
It says that God's existence is identical to his attributes.
Yeah, which means that God's mind is himself. So again, the stances are still just coming from him, and he is his mind. So it's a mind. It's a I mean, for example, if I was to ask Yahweh, gay sex, yay or nay, would he have a position on that?
Of course, but the point is that
that's all
it's not true. The point is that it's not true because God says so. God says so because God is identical with goodness. So what actually makes it true is the identity that God has to goodness.
Is it true because God says so, or does God say so because it's good? True.
So God says so because it's good.
Okay, so where is he drawing this information from? That's good.
Yeah, he draws it from his act of existence on divine simplicity.
Sounds like it's just his opinion then.
No. Okay. Do you know what divine simplicity is? It's not about.
I'm ex-Catholic. Yes.
Okay, so you understand the idea is that God's identical to his
attributes. Yep.
Yes.
And
okay.
that
All
doesn't-
goodness. When they say that God's all good, that's
God-
not to say that God has all of these beliefs that are ethical. It's to say that God is literally identical to goodness. They
So
refer
God's
to the
not-
same object.
God's not ethical. All right.
No, wait. What?
So
no.
so to be clear, God doesn't have a stance on gay sex.
Well, there's a sense in which he does. Because are you familiar with the Trinity?
There you go. As long as yes, I'm familiar with the bullshit that is the
so
Trinity.
the idea is that the persons that instantiate the God property, those people would be against it, but God himself doesn't actually have desires and beliefs. Like
God doesn't
God
have,
is more of
so
a-
God doesn't have a so yes or no, does God have a stance on same-sex marriage?
It depends on what you mean by God. Are you referring to the persons or are you referring to the divine essence?
The being. Does God the being have a stance on same-sex relationships?
But when you talk about the being, are you talking about the being in essence or the being via person?
Being and
relation?
essence are identical terms, synonymous terms in Christian theology.
No. Because-
Yes. The
but
essence of
Jesus is
God
not
is
identical
his
to-
being.
What? No, but
His
Jesus isn't
for
identical to the
God,
Father.
his essence and his being are one and the same.
No, that's true, but the issue is that when you say God and being,
Okay, yes
you
or
could
no?
be referring-
Without using your idiosyncratic like
What? You could be
understanding of
referring to Jesus or the
words, does God have a stance on same-sex relationships? Yes or no?
If by God you mean a divine essence, then no divine essence.
I think you're a Christian in disguise, Leo. Why do y'all do this?
I'm not. I genuinely think you can have objective morality and be a Christian.
But you can't, because like unless the morality is coming from someone, not from God, not from the Christians, as long as it's not coming from someone who has a stance, and
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to be able to
Like you could obviously
Demonstrate
be a
that God-
naturalist, like Ed, Ed Phaser.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Ed Phaser. I've got his book on my shelf.
Yeah, like he's a naturalist, right? Like he thinks that goodness is grounded in.
He's not
flourishing.
he's not a naturalist. He believes in what's called natural theology. There's a difference. A naturalist
Wait, what?
is someone,
Sorry, he's like a moral. He's a moral naturalist. I mean,
whatever. Sure, I don't know what that means, but
Moral
as
naturalist
long
is to
as
say
God
that-
has a stance, and God's morals are like related to that stance, like his position on like morals is his stance on morals, then it's subjective. God is the subject. As long as the morals are do the morals come forth from God?
from his stances, no. They
Does it come from
him.
God?
Yes, but not his stances.
As long as it's coming forth from a subject, is God a subject?
yes,
As long as it's coming forth from a subject, it's subjective.
that is not true.
That is
Subjective
true.
Specifically, comes from the attitude of the subject, not just the subject's implicator.
So God doesn't have attitudes about things. This is
The divine essence does
this
not
is the
have
type
attitudes,
of brain dead thing you have to say when you hold to the
Simple, okay.
idea of divine simplicity, which, by the way, you're an atheist. You should know that the Bible doesn't teach divine simplicity, and that this is a
I
ad
said it's the
hoc-
dominant Christian view.
sure, but it's not one, it's not biblical, and two, it doesn't do away with the fact that God has stances on certain topics.
the persons have stances which are God. So there's a sense in which God. has
So
stances,
God
but
has a stance. Fantastic, lovely.
In that sense, but those stances don't make.
And
it true.
as
What
long
makes it
as
true
long
is
as
the divine
as long as that doesn't make any sense. Make that make sense.
What?
Make
All
sense
right,
of
here.
this.
You understand that when you talk about God, you can be referring to either three persons or you could be referring to the essence, right?
Yeah, the three persons share one essence.
Awesome. Okay. So you understand that when someone says Jesus is God, what they're saying is that Jesus has the divine essence, correct?
Yes, but what does this have to do with whether or not
Okay.
God has a stance?
Here, Jesus has stances, right?
Does the Father have a stance?
The Father has a stance, yes.
Okay, so
Jesus
God
stance, the Holy Spirit has
and
stance.
God's morals are based on
But
his.
Jesus-
And does God have
hold on.
and does God
Okay.
have a stance
Okay.
on same-sex relationships?
If by God you're referring to one of the three persons, then yes, of course. If by God you're referring to the divine essence, then no. Divine essences are divinely simple, so they can't have
So
stances.
God both has a stance, but and also doesn't have a stance at the same
Yeah, but
time.
you're equivocating on God there, but yeah.
God is God, is he not? Is God composed of parts,
If by
or is
God
he
you mean-
or is he absolutely simple in his being?
If by God you mean the divine essence, then of course he's non-compositional. But if by God you mean the person,
Is
then of
God
course
the
Jesus is
Father
God.
identical with the being of God? Is God composed
you're
of
asking-
parts? Is he a composite?
Is the Father and the divine essence numerically identical? No. They're
I didn't
identical
ask if they were
in predication.
numerically identical. God is absolutely simple, So, like, you cannot break God into parts, right?
Yeah, but Jesus has parts, and Jesus is God.
I didn't ask about the body of Jesus. I'm asking about God in his essence. God the Father, you cannot break him up into parts, right?
No, the Father's...
Okay, God in his essence doesn't have parts. God the Father has a stance, and therefore God has a stance.
Not exactly, because when you talk about God, you could still be referring to the divine essence and not one of the persons.
But because of divine simplicity, if you're going to hold to the idea that the Father has a stance, and that the Holy Spirit has a stance, and that the Son, even prior to incarnation, has a stance, and because there is no composition in God, therefore God has a stance.
You're just equivocating. You're equivocating on God.
Why don't you just admit to being a Christian?
But you're equivocating on God, bro.
I'm not equivocating on God.
Look. On God, you're equivocating. Look.
I'm not. On God, I'm not equivocating.
On God, okay, listen. When you say God has stances, you could be talking about the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, or you could be talking about the divine essence.
I'm sorry. Are we breaking God up into parts now?
No.
Are we saying that wait. So to be clear, that the Father has something that God doesn't have?
If by God you're referring to the divine essence, then of course.
Then you're breaking God up into parts, which is not divine simplicity.
No, that does not follow.
It does follow.
You can have a universal predicate that isn't compositional.
Could you speak that? Could you use English, please? That'd be fantastic.
You can have something that instantiates into multiple beings, and that thing is not compositional. A quick example would be two-ness. Right? There are multiple things in the world that kind of instantiate being the number two, but the number two itself as an abstract object isn't compositional.
This is exactly what we mean when we talk about mental masturbation. You've already told us that God the Father has a stance, that the Holy Spirit has a stance, and that the Son has a stance. Now, if I'm going to hold to divine simplicity, so God has something that God doesn't have. I just want you to tell us right now. Is it both the... Wait, but I can't equivocate on God if God is only one thing. If he's only one thing, if he's not composite.
Is instantiated, but is a predication. So when you say God is the Son and the Son has this, therefore
does God have parts? Does God have parts?
In essence, no. In person, yes.
I didn't ask about the person. Like prior to the incarnation, there is no part. There's no composition in God, right?
But the Father is compositional.
God's composite now. The Father is composite.
The Father is composite.
So God is both not composite and composite at the same time.
Again, you're equivocating on God.
All right, get the fuck out of here.
No, you're not making any sense. You don't understand.
I'm not making any sense. This guy just affirmed a contradiction of a P and not a P. That God both has a stance and doesn't have a stance. That God is both composite and is not composite. Bro is LARPing as an atheist. Either LARPing as a Christian as an atheist, or he's a Christian pretending not to be a Christian. Either way, he's ridiculous and crazy. All right.
Why do they all have the same tone of voice, accent?
They
all sound identical.
I don't know. And also, Leo, you're a liar. You're a Christian. Nice try, bud. It's nice to know that he's got a bunch of middle schoolers around, jumping around, talking about how he's got a W. That's fantastic. All right, rabbinical reason. This time you called at the beginning of the show. Rabbinical reason, you are at least 18, you're Jewish, and you go by he, him. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to discuss with us?
Yeah, so let me discuss, let's discuss whether Moses wrote the Torah. Right? I want to see if you could deal with the argument.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So tens of thousands of sages attest today to receive from tens of thousands of sages.
And every single can you demonstrate? Can you demonstrate?
Not finished.
No. Can you demonstrate? You brought this argument to us last time, and last time you weren't able to actually demonstrate that each and every single generation since the time of Moses has tens of thousands of sages. Are you going to be able to demonstrate that claim this time?
Right. So yes, as I did last time. Now, if you're going to say it wasn't,
so go ahead. So go ahead and provide the proof, the evidence that every single generation has had at least 10,000 sages.
Right. Because if you're going to say, right, that there wasn't tens of thousands in one of these generations. We can go back, let's say, to the 1st century, right? That entails that tens of thousands of sages in one of these generations either A, fabricated the amount of sages before them, or B, misverified the number of their predecessors, which is both irrational and improbable.
Okay, where do we get this information from that every generation has 10,000 sages?
Right, so we know that every generation has it, because if you say otherwise, you fall into two irrational and improbable assumptions.
Citation.
Like, you want the citation for the claim itself?
Yes.
Okay, we can go to, for example, Seder Hadorot, as well as the Mishnah Torah.
Here, give us an exact, like, location in the Talmud where we can, like,
it's
see
not in
this
the Talmud.
Okay, where is it then?
Are you saying it has to be in the Talmud? Like, I'm
confused. Wait, where is this found? And how much later after the 1st century is this information given to us?
Right, so I'll tell you why it's irrelevant. Because just because something is written down at that time,
Rabbinic,
that does not entail it was not prior knowledge.
Rabbinic, if you are going to refuse to give us citation for your claims, are you going?
I'm giving you the citation.
Okay, name the text that comes from first.
Okay, Seder Hadorot.
Okay, and when was this text written?
Right, this is going to be about a couple thousand years ago.
A couple Seder Hadorot, which is the
or you can even go to the Mishnah Torah.
The generations is dated to what? All right, let's take a look and see.
Now, to address the point you said.
One second. Slow down. We're going to take a look into this Seder Hadorot. For anyone who doesn't know, Seder Hadorot is like the order of the generations. That's what it means. Let's see when this text was actually written. It's written by Rabbi Yechiel Heilprin, 1660 to 1746, so an 18th century text.
Right, so I agree with that. I'm not denying the dating itself, but I was trying to explain to you.
You just said a couple thousand years.
So that was false. So now rabbinic reason. Where in this text does the good rabbi talk about the 10,000 sages in every generation?
The good rabbi. Okay, so we'll get to where it says it, but just to
no. We'll get to it. We'll get to it now.
Again, if I can't,
we'll get to it now. So,
is this how you run your show?
Yes.
Like, you don't let people.
Yeah. Well, actually, some other people.
This just proves you're scared of.
We don't have to do. Wait, no. The only thing I'm scared of is that you won't give me a citation. That's the only thing I'm scared of. So is that we're going to get claims. Okay, without evidence, and that's the only thing I'm scared of. And keep yeah, I will. I don't have to do this with every guest, by the way. Only with the ones who refuse to give me citations and if you refuse to answer.
It just shows that you're scared.
It shows that scared of not getting my citation. Exactly. No, now go ahead and tell us where in Seder Hadorot the rabbi makes this claim. Go ahead.
Right. So I'm glad to pull it up for you, but just to clarify exactly. Okay. But just to clarify what I said before, because you misrepresented my claim, right? You simply stating that the book itself was written in the 18th century does not entail that it was not prior knowledge, right? We can establish.
Okay, well, you'll have to. Well, yeah, we'll get to.
We'll finish a sentence. Oh, this is like.
I'm not going to let you I'm not going to let you re-app. You're going to go on forever.
You're the worst.
You can call me the worst, or whatever you want, whatever makes you feel better about yourself, rabbinic reason, you child. Now listen, rabbinic reason. We're going to get to that in time where I need to vet this text. So now I want you to give us the citation. I feel like you're not doing it because you don't know where it's at. Here, prove to us you don't know where the citation is by not giving the citation. Okay. No, we're not going to move forward until you give the citation. So where we can run away if you want. Where in Seder Hadorot? Where in Seder Hadorot?
Why are you?
I've made it very clear.
Let me respond.
Rabbinic reason. Okay, I'll let you respond, but the response is going to be
you're like
giving us the citation where in Seder Hadorot the rabbi makes this claim.
Right. So I'm going to move to show you the citation.
If you don't do it, I'll just.
So if you mute me again.
Oh.
Right.
Don't threaten us with a good fucking time, Rabbinic.
Yeah.
You just failed to this.
Oh, what? Sorry, what? You failed to give us a citation because you didn't have the citation. Guys, he doesn't have the citation. That's why he didn't want to give it. It's great. I would love to one day see the reasoning behind his claim, but if he won't give us the data, if he refuses to give us the data, I don't know what to do with him. All right. Jesus Christ. Okay, Jordan, are you at least 18?
Yeah.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yeah.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. This is Ashlyn. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to discuss with us?
Well, you're super wrong about all of them, so maybe...
Just pick one.
Which one of these super stupid false claims do I want to talk about today?
Great start to the conversation, Jordan.
I mean, they're all just so stupid and dumb.
If they're so stupid, you just give. Oh, Jordan, blah 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 blah. Jordan, stop with the meta. Oh my God, you're so fucking boring. Also, speak up when you talk to me. Now, pick one of the topics. If they're so stupid, they should be so easy to debunk. So just pick one, and we'll have the conversation.
Yeah, I think number one is like really, number one is really stupid.
Right.
The dumbest one.
Okay, let's go into number one then. The reason why I say the Bible is bullshit is because the Bible contains scientific and historical errors, contradictions, and failed prophecies. Which one of these would you like me to elaborate on?
I mean, what do you want?
It's dealer's choice, Jordan.
Lathe wants to hear about my
which
prophecy.
you would like to hear me talk about failed prophecy?
No, okay, sure. Well, look in the chat. Lathe sent a message.
Well, I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to Lathe. Come on, Jordan. Focus up.
It's all good. Failed prophecy, I guess. I don't know.
Jordan, do you still think you can do miracles?
Is this someone who thought they could do? Is this another special Christian who thinks they can do magic?
I don't think I ever.
Was that? Oh no, that was the other guy.
Yeah,
I know we spoke to Jordan yesterday. There was a lot of
a lot of really
people yesterday.
A lot of really dumb Jordans out here on TikTok. I agree. Now, anyways, Jordan, you want to talk about failed prophecy in the Bible?
I guess. I mean, not really. The whole thing's dumb. I just want you to
Jordan, you're so fucking boring.
You should just convert.
Jordan,
That's what I want.
I'm not going to convert if you can't give me a reason to. Especially if this is what Christianity produces, is the likes of people like you. God, I don't want to fucking infect my brain with that sort of like.
It's like you're not even a real person. You're just following a script.
You're not a real person, Jordan. That's all I'm going to say. You're not. Yeah, you says the person who just up and just doesn't think for themselves. Jordan, use your focus here.
Track.
Here, focus up, Jordan. I want you to focus up. Prove to us that Christianity is so fucking true by committing to picking one of the topics and actually having a conversation. I feel like you're avoiding wanting to have the conversation because you're incapable. So go ahead, Jordan.
Can't we just talk like human beings?
We are talking. I'm talking. That's fun. Pick one of the topics.
I want you to talk about whatever you want.
It's not. It's a pick. It's for the audience. It's for the opposition to pick Jordan. Don't be lazy.
How about this, Jordan? If you can't give a topic, I will personally block you and remove you from the stream for the rest of Dalton's live streams.
You mean this stupid stream that is like?
Yeah, exactly. You'll be blocked and you'll never have to waste your time again. How about that?
So that's your ultimatum. We've set a boundary.
So you can
now
either.
There.
I don't give a shit. So there are two options, Jordan. One, you're going to be blocked, or two, you can stop being fucking lazy. Okay, Jordan. I guess you want to be blocked. It was not nice talking. Yeah, yes, you are dumb and boring, Jordan. I agree. You are dumb and boring.
Blah blah. Who cares?
Yeah, blah blah. Bye, Jordan. Go ahead and block him, Ashlyn.
I did.
God, it's so boring. Like they're just so fucking lazy. I'm so tired of the mental laziness.
So what he was doing is because he disagrees with you and you can't prove it, he's going to come up and waste your time purposely so you can't have productive conversations, and it's just going to degrade the sustenance of the live. That was very clearly purposeful what they were doing. So that's why I was like, you know what? This is never going to be productive.
Yeah, he was on a wait list just to say that he didn't want to be here. What a fucking clown. Anyways, maybe there's a Christian out here, an actual Christian who isn't lazy, who would like to come up and actually talk about one of the topics. But like literally every guest I get pushes me further away from belief in God. Maybe that's their goal. Maybe people like Jordan, their actual goal is to actually, maybe it's like a crazy psyop, and they're actually wanting to make us more atheists. And if that is their goal, well, fuck, they're doing a really good job at it. But hey, maybe we'll get a Christian up here who isn't part of the psyop and would actually like to advance the cause of Christianity. But I doubt it. Don't blaspheme, clowns. Oh, goddamn fucking Jesus Christ on a stick. I'll blaspheme all day long. Fuck the Holy Spirit. Fuck Jesus Christ. Fuck Yahweh. It's funny
I've seen enough of Jordan on different lives to say that it's probably better for society to block Jordan and not speak with him, because then maybe he will read a book.
That would be great. That's anti-Semitism? No, it's not. What a dumb take. What a brain dead take to say to that fuck God is anti-Semitism. Fun fact, God isn't Jewish. So it is, but I don't care. You obviously do care, or else you wouldn't have commented it. So you just showed us your hand. Yeah, it's a really brain dead thing to say that, talking shit about God is anti-Semitic. What a dumb thing to say. Yeah, I don't expect him to really have a lot. I don't have a lot of faith in Christians, obviously. Atheist is a word coined by white Christians, irrelevant, for non-believers of Jesus or their God. I mean, maybe that I can't guarantee that is the origination of the word. As a Jew, I will forgive you. Well, as a non-Jew, I don't give a shit. You can say it's anti-Semitic, but it's not. Anyways, yeah, but the question is not where did the word come from, but what does it mean now and how do we use it? Because if we start making arguments about that a word must mean this because of its etymological origin, that's called the etymological fallacy. Sounds like something a Zionist would say. Yeah, you too, punk. Sounds like something a Zionist would say. Are you a gay? No. Are you a gay? Truly saved?
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay? The Bible teaches people how to live their lives. Yeah, but in a really shitty way. Everyone believes in in some God. I don't. So that's false.
Every time I hear that, it makes me want to talk to Jay.
I know, yeah, me too. Who is your favorite famous atheist? Depends on what we mean by famous. I'm going to be biased here and say that Justin is one of my favorite because he's my good buddy.
Yeah, Justin's one of my favorite. Forrest is one of my favorite.
Forrest is great.
Yeah, I like John. I like the atheists that especially that have the sense of standing up for oppressed groups and things like that. So I don't always like Matt Dillahunty's arguments because I don't blame him. He's sick and tired of it. But there's so much respect for him on standing and advocating for trans rights as well. So there's a ton of people that I can think of and argument wise or not argument wise or stylistic wise. John's one of my favorite because how calm John is.
We have a guest. Michael Johnson, welcome back to the live. Last time your internet was not so great, so hopefully we can have a conversation today. Michael, just a reminder for myself and for the audience, are you at least 18 years old? What pronouns do you go by? And are you a Christian?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I'm 22 and I'm a Christian.
And what pronouns do you go by?
I'm a he and him.
All right. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. This is Ashland. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to discuss with us?
Number 2.
Number 2, Christianity is false. All right. So the reason why I think Christianity is false is because for 2 reasons. 1, no one's been able to demonstrate to me that the Christian God exists. And 2, the central claim of Christianity is that Jesus is the Messiah, and yet he didn't fulfill any prophecies from the Old Testament about the Messiah.
Okay. Now, do you know about Cyrus the Great?
Yeah. He was the Persian leader who conquered the Babylonians.
But he was called the Messiah, right?
Well, he was called an anointed. He was called anointed. Yes.
But he was also called the Messiah. Right?
Well, Messiah is our English word that we use, which comes from a Hebrew word, Mashiach.
Messiah?
I mean, sort of, not in the modern sense of the word.
Isaiah, relax. Did Isaiah call him the Messiah?
No, not Isaiah. The author of 2nd Isaiah, who isn't Isaiah, son of Amos, refers to Cyrus as being anointed.
But I debated one guy, his name is Yehuda Israel, and he acknowledged that Isaiah called him Messiah.
Well, it depends on what you mean by Messiah, because again, our word Messiah comes to us from, the English word Messiah comes from a Greek transliteration, Messias, which comes from the Hebrew word Mashiach, and Mashiach means simply anointed with oil, like an anointed person or anointed thing. So the author of 2nd Isaiah, in Isaiah 45 verse 1, refers to Cyrus as being anointed. In Hebrew, that's Mashiach. It's not the same idea as Messiah in our like modern Christian lens, but it's like just simply someone who's anointed.
But Jesus Christ, what is the meaning of the word Christ?
Christ is the Greek translation. Christos.
What is the meaning of the word Christ? What is the meaning of the word Christ?
Well, Michael, I'm answering you. So let me answer your question. Okay. Our English word Christ comes to us from the Greek word Christos, which is a Greek translation of the Hebrew word Mashiach. So Christos, Christ, also means anointed, just like the word Mashiach means anointed.
Right. Just like Cyrus the Great, right?
Yeah, in the Septuagint, Cyrus would be called like Christou.
No, I'm not asking for it. Just like Cyrus the Great, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, and I also debated this Yehuda Israel, the Jewish, so-called Jewish. He also admitted that Zechariah was a false prophet.
First?
Yeah, he also admitted that Zechariah was a false prophet.
False. I mean, I think they're all false prophets.
So that means you can't rely on the Old Testament because you are using the Old Testament to prove that Jesus wasn't the Messiah, right?
Oh no, it's an internal. Oh no, Michael, you're misunderstanding. It's an internal critique of the Bible. I don't have to hold to the position that Zechariah and Isaiah were true prophets in order to do an internal critique on the Bible. So the authors of the New Testament are making a claim. Their claim is, well, the prophet said something in the Old Testament, and Jesus is fulfilling what was said, and you don't have to believe. Michael, to be clear, you don't have to actually believe that prophecy is real, or that prophecies exist, or that they can do real prophecy in order to do an internal critique of the claim that Jesus fulfilled prophecy.
Okay. But in the New Testament, we also saw there was a part in Matthew that Jesus said David called him Lord, right?
Yeah, just like David was called Lord.
But David called him Lord, right?
Oh no, that's a mistake that the authors of the New Testament make. That Jesus makes the claim that David refers to somebody else as Lord, but it wasn't actually David who said that. The Psalm 110 wasn't written by David. It was written for or to or about David.
I apologize for interrupting, but Michael, are you able to maybe get closer to your mic a little bit? Guests are saying that you're a little low, and it's making them. Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. But David and Jesus also said that he's greater than Solomon, right?
Again, the problem here is that Jesus was wrong when he presupposed that. Wait, Michael, you don't interrupt me. It's not a good way to. You're not going to get very far if you start doing that. The authors of the New Testament have Jesus make the claim that Psalm 110 was David speaking, but I don't think that's true, and I don't think you can make the argument from Psalm 110 that David is the one speaking, especially since Psalm 110 tells us in the original Hebrew that the psalm was written for David.
And David also recited it, right?
No, we don't know whether or not David recited it. We don't have any evidence.
But there are higher chances it was written for David, and there are higher chances that David must have read it and recited it.
No, that's not necessary. All that means for something to be written for David can mean David would perform it, but for David can also just mean that a court psalmist wrote a song and then had someone else sing it to King David as if it's like praising King David. When it says in the beginning of Psalm 110, Yahweh said to my Lord, this is a different person saying that Yahweh says to David something.
Okay. Now, but you also said there are chances that David must have performed it, right?
If we have, there are some Psalms that David could have performed, but we don't know for sure. Yeah. We don't know for sure. The only Psalms,
can I talk?
Michael, don't ask me a question if you don't want to hear the answer.
But I'm asking you a question that there are chances that David must have performed it, right?
Okay, well, Michael, if you are going to ask me a question, I am going to answer you, and you're not going to interrupt me. Is that clear?
If you are... Okay, it's not really that clear, but you can talk.
Thank you. I can talk on my show. Thank you very much. Now, we don't have any evidence that David sung Psalm 110. Can you provide us evidence that he did?
Okay. So you want me to go back in time to ask David?
No, you don't. No, you don't have to do that. Like, for example, we have example of David singing certain psalms in the text. Like, we have stories where, for example, at the like the building of the temple, prior to the building of the temple, when like David has like created all these different structures that he's preparing for the building of the temple, we have a text where David sings one of the psalms. That's evidence that David sung that psalm. But again, there's nothing in Psalm 110 that itself would indicate that David is the singer.
According to you, right?
According to the text.
According to you.
According to the text.
Okay. So you say, but you were, when Jesus also said that he's greater than the temple, what did Jesus mean by he's greater than the temple?
Jesus was, this is a pivot to another completely different topic, but Jesus said that one here is greater than the temple is standing before you, and he's referring to himself being greater than the temple. But I have to ask, Michael, what does this have to do with whether or not Jesus fulfilled prophecies?
Now, it's not, you yourself admitted that most of the prophets, you don't.
David, Michael, Michael, does someone need to believe that the prophets are true prophets in order to make an internal critique of the Bible?
According to you, you said no.
Yeah, no, not just according to me. That's just how people who make an internal critique, everyone who makes an internal critique does so because they do not hold to like the internal beliefs of the position.
Okay, can you admit something? Okay, let's say after Jesus, where other messiahs also failed. We know that the Bar-Kokhba
I would say there are no messiahs. If all you mean by messiahs is people who are anointed with oil, then sure, there's been millions of them. I'm sure thousands or anything like that. If by messiahs you mean people who are actually the Messiah prophesied in the scriptures, then the answer is no. There's never been a single one of that in history.
Okay. We know. Okay, let's take for example the first century Jews. Do you believe in first century Judaism?
Do I believe it? Like believe it existed as a religion?
Okay. And do you believe that?
No, Michael, you didn't hear what I said. You're just, Michael. I feel like you're not listening to me. You're just waiting for your turn to talk. I'm going to have to ask you to focus and listen to my answers. You asked me, do you believe in first century Judaism? And I asked you a clarifying question. That question is, by believing first century Judaism, do you mean, do I believe in the religion as if, do I practice it? Or do I believe in the religion as in, do I think that the religion existed in the first century?
Yes.
Yes to which one?
Okay. But no,
yes to which one, Michael? You're not listening.
Okay, like Pharisees, Sadducees, and the Essenes.
Do I think they existed in the first century? Is that what you're asking?
Yes,
they existed.
And they had their own different form of which the Messiah should be, right?
Yes, there's not a single monolithic belief in first century Judaism about what the Messiah would be like.
Okay, each sect within Judaism has their own form of Messiah, right?
I just did confirm that.
What did you say?
Maybe, okay, here, Michael, I want you to take the earwax out of your ear,
Okay.
and I want you to listen, okay? My answer to you was, and I'll repeat it again slowly this time, is that yes, Judaism wasn't a monolith, and therefore they did not have a monolithic or a single idea about what the Messiah would be.
Yes, right.
So there's your answer.
Okay, very good. Now like for example now, okay, so according to you can't universally base what Messiah should be, since the first century Jews did not have a universal agreement on what the Messiah was supposed to be.
Incorrect. So I'm not making an objective claim about this is what Jews in the first century believed about the Messiah. If that was my claim, you would have a point. All I'm doing is the authors of the New Testament are making a claim. Jesus fulfilled XYZ prophecy. And then Michael, the New Testament is making the claim that the prophecy, that XYZ prophecy is being fulfilled. So I'm going back to the Old Testament to look at the prophecies that they are quoting from to see if Jesus is actually at least fulfilling the prophecies. And most of the time, it's either taken out of context or mistranslated. I am not making the claim that the Jews of the first century believed in only one version of the Messiah.
Okay, but they believe in multiple versions of the Messiah, right?
In the first century, yeah.
Okay. So, based on that same standard, you shouldn't be using the same, what do I even want to say? Okay. But let's say, you said, let's remove that Jesus didn't fulfill any prophecy, because I got you on that one. But
whoa. Hold the fuck up. Okay. Michael, no, you didn't catch me on anything. All I've admitted to in this conversation, Michael, is that Jews in the first century didn't have a monolithic belief about the Messiah. That has no bearing whatsoever on whether or not I, as Dalton in the 21st century, can read the Hebrew Bible for myself and come to a conclusion about whether or not Jesus fulfilled prophecy based on the literary and historical context of the original text. That doesn't have anything to do with that whatsoever.
But do you acknowledge that Jews were known for using old scripture to reinterpret event that was occurring to them presently?
Yes, I fully believe that Jewish people in the first century renegotiated and recontextualized the Bible to make passages which had nothing to do with them have something to do with them, including the authors of the New Testament who renegotiated with the Old Testament to make it seem as if Jesus fulfilled prophecy when in its original context, it had nothing to do with Jesus.
But you acknowledge that Jews were known for reinterpreting old scripture.
Yes, I fully acknowledge the Jewish people who wrote the New Testament reinterpreted the Old Testament to make it look like Jesus fulfilled prophecies.
But it's not only the New Testament.
I know. I'm aware. It's not just the New Testament, Michael. This doesn't do away with the fact that this doesn't do away with the fact that when we, as thinking people, go back and we read this text for ourselves, I don't have to lean on whatever it is that people in the first century believed. I have these texts at my disposal, and I can go back and read them for myself in their original language. So whatever the first Jewish people of the first century believed about the Messiah prophecies is 110% irrelevant to whether or not Jesus actually fulfilled prophecies.
Okay. But do you think, let's take, for example, Christianity now. It was a movement within Judaism, right?
Yes.
Christianity, it was a movement within Judaism, right?
Yep.
Okay. And it was a minority within Judaism, right?
As far as we can tell, yeah.
It was a minority within Judaism.
I answered, so why did you ask the question again?
But all of a sudden, despite being persecuted by the is the majority Judaism and the pagan Gentiles.
Well, we don't have. Well, we have a lot of evidence that the first century Christians were persecuted by like Gentiles, like Romans, at certain points after the Nero persecution started. But whether or not there was like a lot of persecution coming to Christians from other Jewish people, we don't have a lot of data to support that position.
But
all we have are the writings of the authors of the New Testament, and those writings are suspect.
Okay, but they were being persecuted, right? Because according to them, their Messiah died on the cross, right? They were mocked by the majority Jews because to them, their
Michael,
Messiah died.
I would love to get to the point in this conversation when it has anything to do with Michael. Michael. I would love for us to get to the point in this conversation where you provide evidence that Jesus fulfilled prophecies instead of all this bullshit. Instead of all this bullshit, which has absolutely has no bear. I've already told you 2 times. This has absolutely no bearing on whether or not Jesus fulfilled prophecies or not. Do you understand, Michael?
Okay, yes, I understand. But you are using the same standard. You don't believe in the prophet of the Lord.
I don't need to believe in Michael, we've already discussed this twice. I don't need to believe in the words of the prophets in order to do an internal critique of the text of the Bible. I don't need to believe in what the prophets, that they were prophets, and I don't give a shit what Jewish people in the first century thought. We are going back to the original text, and we are doing critical analysis of the text.
But you also said that Jews were known for reinterpreting scriptures to fit
which is why we don't give a shit what Jewish people in the first century had to say. We go back to the original text.
Wow. Now that same standard you are applying, I am using that same standard for first
Michael,
century.
by this same standard, you would also be a Muslim or Jewish person. Because if you're applying the text to the time period and what those people believed in, yes, of course the people believed in the thing at the time.
Michael, you're making me want to. Okay, in fact, I'm gonna go on Amazon right now and buy a stress toy because Michael, you're stressing me the fuck out with your inability to think coherently. Michael, yes or no? Do I need to believe in the words of the prophets to make an internal critique of the Bible? Yes or no?
According to you.
No, not according to me, just actually in reality.
According to you, but me, I'm using
Michael.
Yes.
Do you think I give a shit what Jewish people in the first century thought about the prophecies?
If you don't give a shit, then you shouldn't be using that same standard.
I'm not using the same standard as the first century Jews. I'm using a different standard. It's called critical historical method for understanding the text. I'm not using the same standard that Jewish people in the first century used, Michael.
I am using the standard of the Jewish people of the first century.
Well, the standard of the Jewish people in the first century is wrong, Michael. Because the Jewish people in the first century ignored the context of the passages to make it relevant to their time. Michael, I'm afraid that you're pissing me off, and I'm not going to be able to go forward with this conversation for much longer if you cannot provide me a prophecy that Jesus fulfilled.
Okay. I want to counter your other friend down here. She said she was using the same thing as a Muslim. Can I counter her?
Yeah. What Shashlin is pointing out is that the same method that you would use, Michael, shut up. The same method that you would use to paint Jesus into the Old Testament, Muslims use that same method to paint Muhammad into the Old and New Testament. Are you aware?
Yes, I'm aware, but I don't believe Moses existed. But they believe Moses existed.
You don't believe Moses existed?
Yes, I don't.
Jesus, Moses is in the Old Testament, Michael.
He's in the Old Testament, but they claim according to their tradition, right?
Did Jesus believe Moses existed?
They claim according to their tradition.
Did Jesus believe Moses existed?
I doubted it.
You doubt it. Have you read the Gospel of Matthew?
Jeez. Oh, Michael, you're in for one right now.
This is insane. Michael, have you read the Gospel of Matthew?
Yes.
And what did Jesus say about Moses in Matthew 19, verse 7?
Moses write out to me, right?
So wait, that's from the Gospel of John. Talking about the Gospel of Matthew.
Okay, what is it?
Okay. They said to him, the Pharisees said to him, why then did Moses command us to give a certificate of dismissal and to divorce her? He, Jesus, said to them, it was because you were so hard-hearted that Moses allowed you to divorce your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. Jesus believed that Moses allowed for divorce because people were so hard-hearted. How can Moses do that if he didn't exist? At least within an internal critique of the Bible. This is insane.
Okay. But can you show me the verse in the Old Testament whereby Moses issued certificate of divorce?
Yeah, Deuteronomy 24, verse 1.
Can you show it?
Yep. My God, it's so exasperating.
It's
Goose
one thing. It's one thing to educate atheists on the Bible. It's another to educate Christians.
Yeah, it's insane. Suppose a man enters into a marriage with a woman, but she does not please him because he finds something objectionable about her. So he writes her a certificate of divorce, puts it in her hand, and sends her out of his house. This is where Moses gives the declaration about divorce. So Jesus said in Matthew 19 that Moses allowed for divorce because you were hard-hearted as a people. So clearly Jesus believed that Moses existed.
But the Pharisees were claiming that, right?
And when Jesus responded that Moses allowed for divorce, was that the truth?
But Jesus countered their response.
When Jesus said, and I quote, that Moses allowed it because of the hardness of your hearts, was that a true statement that Jesus made?
But he was saying
was that a true statement that Jesus made?
Yes.
So
he was
wait.
Last.
If he's just wait. Jesus never once makes the claim that according to your tradition. No, he states it matter of factly that Moses allowed for something.
But they were justifying it according to their tradition, right?
A tradition that's comes from the law of Moses. Okay, wait.
And Jesus was wait.
The Jewish people, were they ever enslaved in Egypt?
Based on what I researched, I doubt it.
W. Ogre Raid.
Michael, I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with you. You're not able to have a coherent thought. At some points you believe in the Bible, and other places you don't believe in the Bible. It's insane.
Wait, relax. Wait, please. Wait, can I talk?
Oh, that's all you've been fucking doing this whole time.
Okay. But before, the Bible
for the love of God, will another Christian request up so I can get rid of Michael?
Okay, but the Bible was compiled in the 3rd century before it was separated, right?
3rd century what?
Or you can super chat $5.
It was compiled, right?
3rd century BC or 3rd century CE?
I mean, okay, yes, the New Testament with the Old Testament, it was compiled.
Actually, no, wait. Why the fuck are we talking about Moses? I brought up to you was a complete I should have caught this. Was a complete fucking non sequitur when I pointed out to you that Michael, have you been stupid on purpose this whole time?
No.
Michael Johnson, go fuck yourself, and you're never coming back up on this panel ever again. Thank you for making Christianity look really stupid.
My brain. That's what I feel like, my brain.
What a fucking waste of a person. All right. Lancaster, are you at least 18 years old?
Hi, yes, I'm 26.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Oh, hey, him.
And are you a Christian?
No, I'm not actually. I'm an atheist. I was just curious about point 5, actually.
We're only taking opposition right now, but there's no justice in Christianity because, well, it doesn't provide justice. But as soon as a Christian comes up to talk about that, you'll hear more explanation about that. But we're not taking friendlies right now.
Oh, I see. Okay. No, it was more about the historical aspect of religion as civilization building. But yeah, sorry, I'm not up. So
right.
You do office hours do happen though.
Yeah, in the next let's see, well, it's 15 minutes before I allow friendlies up, so I might as well just do it now, since the Christians are too fucking stupid to talk to right now. Lancaster, the reason why there's no justice in Christianity is that justice, as defined as like the fair and orderly dispensation of punishments and reward. And within Christianity, we don't have this because hell is by definition unjust because people receive infinite punishment for finite crimes. And people are excused of all crimes as long as they believe in Jesus. So in either scenario, justice isn't being dispensed. And also, people are punished for things that they have zero control over, such as whether or not they believe in Jesus.
Oh, is he 100%? No, I was more thinking, but canonical. That's how I understood the sentence about canonical justice. The idea that there's a justice system inside.
No, like
in the Catholic Church, but I see what you mean.
Yeah. This is just about whether or not the religion of Christianity has, like, God provides any justice within the scope of Christianity.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you so much for having me. I don't want to waste an up, so thank you very much.
Have a good day, Lancaster. Bye. Of course, the first good, productive conversation we have, and it's with someone who is a non-believer, because Christians are incapable. I'm so pissed off about that whole Michael situation. In fact, I think I might just go ahead and block him. So I don't have to see his face ever again.
Oh, I thought you had already.
No, I haven't yet, but he's blocked now. Anyways, I have super chats over here. At Simeon Urchin with the $20. Love your work, bro. And this donation is from Jordan on his behalf. I know how much he would have wanted me to send this for him before his death by mod. Big W to Jordan then for the $20.
I told him that comment was goated.
Yeah, it's so funny. And at Marduk with the $9.99 on the heart. Well, heart right back to you, Marduk. Much appreciated. And at Liquid with the $2. What does fulfill the law mean? Is it prophecy? So in Matthew 5:17, when Jesus says that he came to fulfill the law, the Greek word used there is plerosai. It comes from a word plero, which means to make something full. And the idea when it comes to prophecy, making prophecy full, is that there's this prophecy that is yet to come to pass, and making it full is by having the event come to pass. When it comes to the law and making the law full, the idea is that people in the time of Jesus were keeping the law of Moses, but like they weren't internalizing the law of Moses. And Jesus is basically, there's an idea within Judaism that when the Messiah comes, he's going to reach into the depths of the law of God and bring forth new riches from it and a deeper understanding of it. And that's what Jesus attempts to do in the Sermon on the Mount. So he's making the law more full. So that's the idea there.
Also, just FYI, Marduk had said below that the heart, that's to drop Michael.
Oh, fantastic. Brachiosaurus, are you at least 18 years old?
I am 23.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a believer or a non-believer?
I'm a believer.
Which God?
I'm Catholic.
Catholic, all right. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. This is Ashland. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to discuss with us?
No, I just have one question, bro. Why are you shitting on Christianity? There's better religions to shit on. Just look at Islam, bro.
No, it's so easy because every Christian comes up here, shows that humanity is doomed. Like they're so stupid and they're incapable of having good faith conversations that it's like it's almost like a necessity that I must shit on them to put on display the stupidity and the dangers that is Christianity.
Also, I'm gonna guess that the reason why is you're gonna talk about stuff like child marriage. Do you know that actually it's 33 now, 33 states in the United States have the ability to marry children, and many of them come from Christian politicians who advocate for it because they think that marriage is good for children, especially if they get pregnant.
Ooh,
yeah, those aren't
yucky.
true Christians.
That's not true Christians. Really, is there anything in the Bible that prohibits child marriage?
No, not specifically. I couldn't name it off the top of my head.
Oh, what was
my Bible?
What was Thomas Aquinas's view on child marriage?
I couldn't name that off the top of my head.
Maybe
I'm not
you should
super deep into faith.
Maybe you should look a little bit into that, buddy, and see what Thomas Aquinas, the most prolific philosopher of Catholic tradition, what his position was on child marriage. I'll give you a hint. He was A-okay with it. So your religion's not any better when it comes to the fucking of kids, especially your priests who repeatedly fuck children. So like,
Right.
let's not pretend like Islam
those
is.
are not Catholic priests.
Yeah, they are Catholic priests. They are ordained
They're
as
almost all
they are.
Protestant.
No, my dude. These are actual priests who are ordained by the Catholic Church and are moved around and scuttled around by the Catholic Church. Like you must be like a baby Catholic or something, because like if you're
This is a huge issue.
Yeah,
this is like a major issue.
It's called the called the priestly scandal. And I'm an ex-Catholic. It was a huge problem in the Catholic Church. The fact that all these priests are going around fucking kids. So much so that there's a joke about it. That what is a reverse exorcism? It's when the demon tells the priest to get out of the little boy. That's how often your priests fuck kids. That we have jokes about it.
My state has an entire class action for victims and survivors. That it's so prevalent that they are required by law to have a type of insurance to protect the victims of this.
That joke was low key funny,
and it's sad that it's a joke that's relevant enough due to the. But anyways, we have here the Catholic Church sex scandals. Interesting page. You should read more about the reports of the sexual abuse of minors by Catholic clergy and members of religious orders have been documented in numerous countries. Beginning in the late 20th century, allegations and subsequent investigations revealed long-term patterns of misconduct and, in some instances, failures by church authorities to address or disclose allegations. Like, this is not something that's like everyone knows about the sex abuse scandal of the Catholic Church. So your religion's not better than Islam, just as bad.
All right. And then add another thing. Why are Christian morals subjective?
Because they come from God's mind. Subjective means that's stance dependent. So, for example, in the Catholic Church, homosexuality is a sin. Is that because God has a stance on whether or not homosexuality is allowed or not?
Yeah, it says in Leviticus
18:22. Of course, you know the anti-gay passage. Yes, is crazy
the one
that you have them memorized. Here, what did
yes, I do have that memorized.
Yeah, it's interesting. What did Paul say about? What's the Bible verse from Paul about homosexuality?
Isn't that John something, if I remember correctly? I only have that down because it's in my bio on one of my accounts.
Anyways, so God has a stance on homosexuality. The morals of God are based on his stance. Therefore, by definition of that, subjective means stance dependent. The morals of Christianity are subjective. They're just God's subjective opinion.
And then what about there's no justice in Christianity?
Yeah, what do you think justice is?
people paying for their crimes.
Yeah. Do you think would it be just, for example, if Ashland went to the store, stole a stick of gum, and then we put her to death for that? Would that be just?
No.
And why is that not just? I agree with you, but could you elucidate for us why it's not just?
Well, too harsh of a punishment.
Exactly.
For not a strong enough crime.
Yes, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Now, here's a question for you. Are humans finite creatures, or are we infinite?
Can you explain that for me? I'm really slow.
Finite meaning finite is the opposite of you know what infinite means, right?
Mm-hmm.
Finite is the opposite of infinite. So are we infinite?
Or finite.
Or finite. Can a finite creature produce any act of an infinite magnitude?
No.
Okay. Therefore, a finite creature cannot perform a crime of an infinite magnitude. And if a finite creature cannot perform a crime of an infinite magnitude, it cannot be deserving of a punishment of infinite magnitude, which hell is that.
All right. Thank you. I also think that you should have a conversation with Jesus and whatnot.
Are you a middle schooler?
I'm not a middle schooler. I'm 23.
Here, you can tell Jesus and whatnot and all his little children who like to follow him around that he can come and debate me anytime he wants.
All right, but yeah, I'm definitely tagging him.
All right, you do that. I'm so tired of this this low tier being brought up in my comment section. In fact, I might just make it to where you can't type in the word Jesus and whatnot in the comment section because I'm just so tired of hearing about him. If he wanted to debate me, he could call in Jesus or whatever.
The problem is they call him Jaw, and that's an actual word.
Jaw, yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right. The Cake is a Lie is coming up now. The Cake is a Lie. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 43.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a believer or a non-believer?
I'm a non-believer myself.
All right. What brings you up to the panel?
I wanted to talk about Bible is BS, a particular topic that I think we can have an interesting conversation about. But before we get to that, if I can, just on the topic that was on the table there before about abuse within the Catholic Church. Do you know who Josh Shapiro is?
I don't. Josh Shapiro?
Yeah.
I don't know who Josh Shapiro is.
He's governor of Pennsylvania now.
He was running for the Democratic position last election for presidential nominee.
He was. He is current governor of Pennsylvania. He was the Attorney General, I believe, of Pennsylvania when he headed a press conference about an investigation into the Schmeck scandal in the Catholic Church within Pennsylvania. And one of it's horrific because it was a major. It's actually, I think it's still the most well-funded investigation into abuse that occurred within the Catholic Church that has been done anywhere in the world, right? I mean, some of it's all horrific, but one of the things, not to be salacious or anything like that, but one of the things that was uncovered in that report, for example, was there was a ring of abusers, right, in the clergy that would give present victims with necklaces, like religious, with a cross or whatever it was on it, right, so that other abuser priests could identify them as potential abuse victims. That was a thing that was going on in Pennsylvania that they identified.
God damn.
Yeah.
Well, that's I'll put that on a tally board for another reason not to be a Christian.
Yeah, I did not know that he was heading that. I know he's done a lot of work. I don't always agree with his policies, but I had no idea that Joseph Biro was involved in that particular.
He was the Attorney General at the time when the report came out, so he headed the press conference and he explains, he goes into other details about stuff that was going on. I won't say anything else right now because there is other stuff just as bad and worse than that in the report.
Well, yeah, that is some absolute bullshittery right there on the part of the Catholic Church. Every day they get worse and worse. But hey, the cake is a lie. I do have to limit the amount of time that friendlies can come up to ask their questions. So that way, in case there's opposition, which I have someone who wants to come up, I just don't want to spend too much time.
Sure.
Talking to friendlies. As much as I love, it's my favorite part of the show is talking to friendlies.
So let's get to what the Bible is BS.
The
particular point I want to talk about is Assyrian incursions into Judea. I mean, do you think that there was a unified kingdom, or?
I'm on the fence about whether or not there was ever a unified kingdom of Israel at any point. There are some scholars who say yay and some who say nay. And the ones who say nay, they do hold a really good position that the people of Judah just sort of co-opted the identity of the people of Israel for themselves, which is very interesting. I believe that is the position of such scholars as Joel Bennett and John J. Collins.
Well, I don't think there was a unified kingdom.
Yeah,
I think that when the Assyrian incursion occurred, that the northern kingdom, the more prosperous kingdom, got destroyed, and they started to move down into Jerusalem. At least the individuals who were capable of moving, 90% of the population weren't capable of moving because they're subsistence farmers, right?
Yeah.
But the scholars and the individuals from the prosperous kingdom who had the experience, the civil service, the knowledge of being able to run a larger economy, a larger political bloc, some of them at least moved into Jerusalem, and they had to start buttering up, if you like, to the kingship, the administration in Jerusalem. And I think there are giveaways in the Bible. For example, we have fun court stories like Samson beating his enemies to unalivement with what is it, a
donkey's jaw,
right? Yeah. That comes across to me as some sort of a comedy story that's been told in a court, in a king's court, about your ancestor, right? But there's also when it gets sort of more serious, we have the stories about David and Solomon. There is some sort of there isn't the dynasty in Jerusalem call themselves the Davidic dynasty. They have some sort of culture or memory of some guy called David, right?
Yeah,
I think at the time. But the northern kingdom, the refugees from the north come in. They have to ingratiate themselves to the court in Jerusalem, and they start telling them stories like, yes, once upon a time there was this unified kingdom and you were the leaders of this kingdom and we went away and now we're coming back to you. I think there's something like that went on.
That's always possible.
I think it is something like that happened.
There's a great book. There's a great book.
A lot of these. Sorry.
There's a great book on this topic. I think you might be interested in. It's by I saw Joel Bennett earlier. I meant Joel Baden. Joel Baden. His book on King David. You might enjoy that as a read. In fact, we'll probably end up reading it eventually on the Bible Guy Book Club. It's called David.
Say it again. What's the name of the author?
Oh, Joel Baden. Baden.
Joebaden, yeah?
Joel and then Baden. Joel is Joel and then Baden is Baden.
Oh, Joel. Yeah, got it.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, yeah.
Have a good day. Cake is a lie.
But right, you too. Before you kick me, like, what do you think about that? That model, like, of.
It's a possible hypothesis. I'm usually I would have to have like a lot of more. I had something a bit more robust before I'm a bit more conclusive on it, which is why I'm not even like yet conclusive on the were they one unified kingdom or two kingdoms model yet. But I definitely lean more in one direction than the other. But I'm not yet committed.
Fair enough.
Right. Talk to you later.
I've looked into the archaeology as well. Like, for example, like.
We could probably get into that, but I would get too interested and I would go into for a long time. And I do have someone's.
We can do this all night. Maybe some other time or whatever. You know. Okay, fair enough.
See you, Kate.
Just a quick reminder for a friend of the channel, Cameron Bennett, and his family are almost homeless. That fundraiser and GoFundMe are still going. YouTube Punk put the link in the chat, and the link is also in the live chat in the Discord. You can also DM me personally or find a mod, and I'm sure we can get you the information if you would like to support that.
All right, we have here 3D Printer 85. Are you at least 18?
Yeah.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a believer or a non-believer?
I'm a believer.
All right, are you a believer in the Christian God?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. This is Ashland. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to discuss with us?
The third one.
Jesus is dead. All right, I think Jesus is dead because people don't live to be 2,000 years old. Jesus was born 2,000 years ago, therefore he's probably dead, unless we can be given a good explanation for why he wouldn't be dead.
Well, I mean, you could be right about his physical form being dead, but his spiritual form is not.
You can't hold that as a Christian. You do realize that the Christian belief is that Jesus is both spiritually and physically alive, right?
His physical
Is this
form,
number 9 now?
like a human body.
This is number 9. No, the Christian belief is that his human body is resuscitated and brought back to life.
Okay, just 3D printer. When did Jesus die again after resurrecting?
Because in the Gospels, 3D printer.
No.
Well, guys, that's number 9. The 9th Christian that we've spoken to who wasn't even educated on the concept of the resurrection. Man, I mean, maybe when he ascended into heaven, he got to space, couldn't breathe, and he died, and it just kept going without his body. And then there was like a meteor that hit Earth, and it was actually just the body of Jesus. Man, crazy work. Okay, Jay Egos is coming back. Jay Egos, you are at least 18. You go by he, him.
Sir, yes, sir. I am 20. I'm 25 years old, sir.
All right, and your pronouns are
he/him, sir.
And you're a Christian?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Dalton the Bible Guy. This is Ashland below you. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to discuss with us?
I would like to discuss the fact that you are a stupid idiot, sir.
Yeah, Egos, you're like boisterous and you're overcompensating for your lack of knowledge in the Bible. I get it.
Oh, you're intelligent.
Like you have to make an ass of yourself
now
in front of the audience because you're not confident enough in your knowledge of the Bible. So you have to make you have to make a jackass of yourself. Do you think?
Can I speak?
Do you think that this is a really good showing for Christianity? What you're doing,
sir? Can I?
You can speak, but I'm gonna have to ask you to shut the fuck up a little bit. You're a bit too loud,
sir. I'm not. See, I keep getting muted.
The irony of having the 40-year-old virgin as your profile picture is unbelievable. Yeah. Anyways, AC, a friend of the channel, coming on up.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long.
AC, a long time no see.
A long time no see, guys.
How you doing, bud?
Not bad. I just came to share a friendly joke with you guys. It's a little bad, so I wanted to ask your permission before I share it. I don't want to share anything that you feel is too bad.
Is it sexist, racist, misogynist, or anything that's like that?
No.
Is it punching down?
So.
Okay.
Cool. It's a little punching down if it's Christianity.
All right, we can hear it. Yeah.
Okay. So, a Catholic priest and a Protestant decide to have Sunday school together, right? And as they enter the church, it begins to go up in tinders. Everything's going down. And the Catholic priest says, we got to get out of here. And the Protestant says, what about the children? The priest says, fuck the children. And the Protestant says, do you think we got time?
Oh my God.
Oh. I'd oppose that position. I don't think it's funny to make fun of. And I'm not saying that there's not a time and place for the humor, but I don't think on a live that there may be someone actually affected by this. But yeah.
It's a bit sad. It's sad that this is it's sad that we live in a world where it happens enough that it gets turned into jokes. I'll just say that.
And I don't think if you find this funny that you're a bad person in general. I just don't think that on a live it is. Yeah. That it's like,
what it is tragic, right? It's tragic that we've come to the point that it's not just one joke, right? Because Dalton already had one, right? But it's multiple jokes. It's to the point so bad that we have to make fun of it to get the point across that this terrible thing is occurring on a regular basis.
Yeah, it is a tragedy that such a thing is occurring. Yeah, everyone should. Hey, if you see a Catholic, let them know that this is happening. Because apparently not all Catholics are aware of the fact that
not just Catholics, Protestants too. It's rampant through all of Christianity. It's not just the Catholics,
especially amongst child ministry pastors, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. But hey, AC, it was good talking to you. I don't want to keep too many friendlies up on the panel.
Absolutely.
But hey, you have a good day, bud.
You guys are always killing it, and I love you two both. Have a wonderful time.
You too, AC.
Hi, AC.
Another friendly coming up, Lathe of Heaven. Lathe, howdy, partner.
Hello. I had a question.
Yes.
So I learned something new about Catholicism today.
Okay.
And I was hoping you could explain it to me. So this guy was telling me that Catholics don't believe that God has emotions.
Correct. Yeah. So
what? I don't understand it.
Yeah. It is. I'll just say up front, it's nonsense and it's not biblical. But within Catholicism, there is this idea called absolute divine simplicity. What does that mean? It means that there is the idea within Catholicism that there are simple beings and there are composite beings. Now, you and I and literally every other thing in creation would be considered a composite being in that we are made of parts. I'm made up of arms and legs and a head, eyes, and even then I'm made up of body and soul. Angels, even though they're just spirits, those spirits are made up of intellect and will, and they're made up of all these different constituent parts that come together to make the thing. The idea within Catholicism, and not just Catholicism, but even Orthodoxy, is that God isn't made up of different parts. He's actually just one single thing. So, as a result of this belief that God is absolutely one in his being, it means that God can't have attributes. So God doesn't have love. Rather, God's love is identical with his essence. So God is his love. God doesn't have anger. God is his anger. God is his anger. And God doesn't have a mind. He is his mind. So it's like all the attributes of God aren't things that God has. They are God and they're all one thing. So that's why God doesn't have emotions, as if these are contingent multiplicity of parts within the mind of God, like us, but rather that God has only one thing, and that one thing is himself.
So whenever it says God has regret, it means that God is regret?
Yeah, or that God is like, yeah, it's so complicated because, well, the problem is that when the Bible says God has regret, that's because God has regret. But the problem is that Catholics have to renegotiate with what the Bible says plainly, and then try to make it say, oh, this is just anthropomorphic language. This is like us as limited human beings not able to understand God, so he speaks to us in ways that we can understand. Of course, it's completely post hoc. There's nothing in the text that ever insinuates this idea of absolute divine simplicity.
Okay, that kind of, well, it doesn't make sense, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I was very confused.
Yeah, there's a lot of, if you want a more detailed explanation about this idea of absolute divine simplicity, this is going to be a first, guys. I'm going to suggest a Christian YouTube channel. There's a channel called Aquinas 101, and they have different videos on different topics within Thomistic philosophy. And one of the videos is on absolute divine simplicity.
I probably will not check it out, but thank you for giving me the resource.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks.
All right,
Bye,
happy to have you.
Bye.
We got some more super chats, and then we're going to do a quick restart on the TikTok side. We have here we have a guest coming up, so we'll talk to them next. At Alphonse Veher with the $10. Is it productive to discuss with Christians how they teach children that they deserve to burn alive forever because they aren't perfect? I think it's productive to point out that this is a form of child abuse, and that we should point out that we should not be engaging in this kind of talk with our kids. Like, should not be threatening our kids with eternal hellfire because it has long-lasting effects. I'm lucky that it wasn't one of me, but there are tons of people who leave Christianity and then they still continue to have all kinds of like horrible stress and trauma based on like a fear of hell, even though they know it's not real. It's like, because they were so thoroughly indoctrinated, it stays with them for some time. Luckily, I wasn't one of those Christians. I managed to think my way out of hell long before I left Christianity. Colin Prophet is coming up next. Colin, are you at least 18 years old? And Colin left. All right, but we have here Trade Scholar PH. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, yes.
And what pronouns do you go by?
About your 5 questions, like
wait.
did you
Wait. You have to answer these 3 questions first before
Okay, what's
you
your
have.
question?
So question number 1 was, are you at least 18? You said yes. Question number 2,
Yes.
what pronouns do you go by?
He.
And question number 3, are you a Christian?
Yes, yes.
Alrighty then. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to discuss with me and my co-host Ashland?
Okay. About the number 1, the Bible is BS.
All right. The reason why we hold to the position that the Bible is bullshit is because the Bible contains scientific errors, historical errors, contradictions, and prophecies that fail.
Okay. I see.
Would you like an elaboration on any one of those points?
Okay. What is your background in the Bible, since you call yourself the Bible guy?
I have in the past. I used to be Christian. I've practiced both Catholicism and Protestantism as a Christian, and then I even practiced Judaism as a Noahide at one point.
I see. Did you study deeper, like in seminary?
No, thank God I never wasted my money on seminary. But I've been told from plenty of people that have gone to seminary that my knowledge is adequate to talk about these topics.
I see. So, in relation to the one scientific, okay, what about the scientific in the Bible? Is the Bible a scientific textbook?
I would say it's not a scientific textbook because it gets science
Yeah, that's right.
wrong and it reflects
Yeah,
ancient and outdated worldviews, which is exactly what we would expect from from a book that doesn't come from a god.
Mm-mm. Yeah, the Bible is not a science textbook, so people should not get something scientific from the Bible.
But to be clear, it's not just that the Bible's not a scientific textbook. It's not neutral. It makes points that are actually contrary to known science.
Okay, example.
For example, the hair is not a ruminant, correct?
Okay,
But the Bible says it is in Leviticus 11, verse 6.
I see. Okay. What more?
You want more? All right. The earth is a globe. The Bible says it's flat in Isaiah 40, verse 22.
I see. Okay, have you considered checking like their context? Why was it said?
Yes.
Why was it written? Like,
Yeah.
was the author?
It's
Okay.
because the authors, because the Bible is just a human made book, and like it reflects the knowledge of Bronze Age and Iron Age
Yeah, that's
Jewish and
right.
Israelite people.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So looks like you agree with me.
Yeah, so I don't think it's fair if we ask modern question to them, to the authors. Like their worldview are limited to what they can see currently.
So you
Right.
agree with me that this book isn't being produced by a god.
We have something we call dual authorship, right? You familiar with it? Dual authorship?
Yeah, that God is the inspiration for scripture, but not its like physical author. That all the authors are allowed to write what they want, but they are being
Yeah,
guided
that's right.
they are guided by the Holy Spirit. Did the Holy
Okay.
Spirit guide them to write things that were false?
What do you mean by false? Because
No,
the Bible is
false means not true.
okay. The Bible's focus is about salvation, but not really about
Well,
science or history.
well, it's not consistent on that matter too. For example, what is the Bible's position on the perpetuity of the Levitical priesthood?
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Like whether or not you know what the Levitical priesthood is, right?
Okay.
Does
Okay.
it go on forever, or does it come to a termination?
In Hebrews, it says that Jesus is the high priest. He is the sacrifice at the same time the high priest.
But of what priesthood is he? Is he a priest according to the order of Melchizedek, or a priest according to the order of Aaron?
Based on Mary's lineage, he is from the line of Levi, Aaron.
No, wait, no. The book of Hebrews says he's the priest according to the order of Melchizedek.
Okay, so
Okay, so what does the book of Hebrews say about the Levitical priesthood?
Levitical priesthood. What do you mean by Levitical priesthood?
The priests of Levi.
Okay. So what is your question?
My question is, what is the book of Hebrews' position on the perpetuity or termination of the Levitical priesthood? Does it teach that the Levitical priesthood goes on forever, or does it teach that the Levitical priesthood is set aside and replaced with another priesthood?
If we talk about Christians, Jesus is the last. If we talk about Judaism, of course they will continue their priesthood since they don't acknowledge Jesus as their Messiah.
I'll try again. Does the book of Hebrews teach that the priesthood of the Levites goes on forever in accordance with God's will? Or does the book of Hebrews teach that the Levitical priesthood is set aside for a new priesthood called the priesthood of Melchizedek?
Why do we need to compare the two?
My God, that's not an answer to my question. You'll see why I'm asking the question. If you don't know, if you don't know, just say I don't know, and I can teach you what the book of Hebrews says.
Okay, you can.
So because you don't know, right?
Okay.
Okay, is not an answer. Yes or no?
Okay. Okay, yes.
Okay.
So let me know.
The book of Hebrews teaches that when Jesus came, he brought an end to the Levitical priesthood and a change to the law, and that he's a priest not according to the order of Levi, but according to the order of Melchizedek, and that through him, the Melchizedek priesthood is done away with. Now, the reason why this is problematic is that the book of Jeremiah says the exact opposite. It says that the Levite priesthood goes on forever. So, this is a salvific issue, whether or not one should engage in the temple sacrifices or not. And the Bible isn't consistent on this point.
Okay.
I'm going to need a little bit more from you. Trade.
Okay.
I need you to engage a little bit more. I can't have a conversation with myself.
Okay. So what's your question again?
Anyways.
Dalton, I've had plenty of conversations with myself.
Yeah. I'm not wasting my time with someone like that. Listen, I hate saying it like this because it makes me sound pompous, but literally that kind of conversation is beneath me.
I literally zoned out. I didn't hear a word of it because there was just no response after no response.
Yeah, it's so fucking boring. No one wants to hear that shit.
Also, just to let you know, I've been having conversations with the YouTube chat. You're allowed to make jokes. That's fine. Just if it's distasteful, the mods will say something. That's all. And if there's blatantly sexist, racist, anti-Semitic, or any of those things, that's just the only thing that's not allowed. I don't know why this is so difficult. It's just there is a certain standard of conduct because we have an obligation to protect the most vulnerable of the group. And there's a lot of vulnerability that happens within populations when you get 200-300 people in a chat. That is all. It's not that difficult. I'm not being overzealous. That's it.
At Tariqa Safi with the 2 Canuck bucks. If David was a prophet, why seek Gad's prophecies? Gad? Like the
God
one,
Dad?
No, Gad is the name of one of the 12 sons of Israel. I'm not aware of any prophecy given by Gad. But also, like, if you meant God
Dad better.
If you meant God, I still don't quite understand the question. If David was a prophet, why seek God's prophecies? Well, if David was a prophet, his prophecies would be God's prophecies because prophets work by relating the words of God. So I don't quite understand your question, but I thank you for the 2 Connect bucks. Emmett613 is coming up. Emmett, we've spoken to you before. You are at least 18 years old. You go by he, him, and you're Jewish. So what brings you up?
I wanted to discuss the first option.
Yeah, oh, thank you for the cowboy hat. Yeah. Do you know why I think the Bible is bullshit?
You can refresh your position if you don't mind.
Historical errors, scientific errors, failed prophecies, and contradictions. And when I say bullshit, What I mean by this is that it's not like this infallible, perfect word that, and as far as I can tell, doesn't come from a God. It's just, as to use a Catholic phrase, the work of human hands.
Okay, so I mean, we might not have a large disagreement then, because what I would argue is that if you're viewing the Hebrew Bible, because I'm not, obviously the New Testament is irrelevant to me. if we're viewing it as an infallible piece of work, then obviously I think we both agree that it's impossible, given that it's a man-written creation. But what I would say is that I don't think that's the correct way to view the Hebrew Bible. I think it's better to be viewed as a library of legends, myths, some history, cultural traditions, etc., of a specific group of people, the Jews, Israelites, etc., through a period of time. I think when it's viewed from that paradigm, I think there's value to it, and not infallible word of divine being, but there's certainly, I think, value in that it traces all these legends, stories, cultural activities, and some degree of history of a certain group of people. And
this prompt is more aimed at people who hold to this position that this book comes from God, and it is infallible, and it is the source of instruction for morality and all this kind of stuff. And that's what number one's really. If you agree with me, the Bible has the qualities you described, then that's fine. But it's not really what the Bible's bullshit is being directed at.
That's fair. I'm sure we still disagree on some more minute things. I would argue that even though there are scientific errors in the Hebrew Bible, I don't think it matters, because these are people that wrote what they believed at that time. I don't think that necessarily eliminates the divine messages that they believe they experienced at that time of recording. So we probably maybe agree or disagree on some things there. But if that's the overarching point of what the first topic, then we probably more or less would agree on the fundamentals of that. So I don't want to go ahead.
I would just say we shouldn't get our morals, our history, or our science from the Tanakh.
I don't think we should get all of them. I think they're, well, first of all, I think the Hebrew Bible itself is more so, even the more so today, it's just, like I said, it's a library for a certain group of people. I don't think it's meant to have a universal moral code. I think it's, we have commandments we should follow, but those commandments don't necessarily mean are applicable to everyday modern life. So I think we definitely agree on that. But if that's really the case, and I just have another question that I'm more so curious on your perspective of. So I don't know how familiar you are. I know you did research Judaism a while ago, and we're practicing Noahide. Did you ever look at the Talmud before, or studied it a little bit?
Well, here's the thing: Noahides aren't permitted to study the Talmud. But
I'm not committed to, but from a scholarly standpoint,
before and after the fact. When I was Christian and after the fact when I was atheist.
So I wanted to bring up something to you, an interesting point. That's something that you might find interesting. So obviously, we know that a lot of the books in the Tanakh were not written by the actual named of who the book is named after. If you go to Gemara Bava Batra 14b 15a, there's actually a part of it where it talks about, according to the sages, who actually
wrote Job.
Those specific. So according to them, the Anshe Knesset Hagadola, the men of the Great Assembly, they actually were the ones that wrote the book, that compiled the books of Ezekiel, the 12 minor prophets, Daniel, and Esther, which would sort of explain why there's an earlier dating to those books, especially Daniel, because it was actually compiled during the era of the Great Assembly, which is obviously far after the Babylonian exile. It talks about King Hezekiah and his inner circle being the ones that compiled the books of Isaiah, Proverbs, Song of Songs, Ecclesiastes. Talks about how Ezra wrote Chronicles and Nehemiah in his own book. So it's just something interesting. I thought that you already have in anywhere between the 2nd and 5th century CE, you already have some degree of biblical criticism actually occurring, or some sort of, very early scholarly viewership and authorship of the Hebrew Bible, within the Talmud. Do you think there's actually some credibility to those sort of stories that were mentioned in the Talmud?
They probably go back to some tradition of some kind. Whether or not all the details are exactly right, because there are things in the Talmud I don't think are accurate. But
sure.
For example, when the sages debate who wrote Job and they come to the conclusion, at least one of the positions that they bring up is that Job didn't exist and his story was an allegory or a parable.
I personally agree. I think that's actually true.
I agree. I don't think Job was a real person. I think whoever wrote Job never intended for Job to be a real person. So like I would agree with them on that point.
Yeah, no, all right. I'm just curious is all. Again, I think one thing I really like. I mean, I'm not trying to like actively promote religion, but one thing I really, I guess, appreciate, at least from someone that does try to be, I try to balance the scholastic realities of modern day, discoveries in history with my, with my religion. I appreciate the fact that we can. There's, one thing about Judaism, I think is 2 Jews, 3 opinions. So debate is encouraged, and you are allowed to question. So I try to balance those things, and so I watch your stream, I watch Justin's, because I really enjoy learning, and I think we should learn as many true things as possible, and I find it fun to try and balance modern scholarship with my own tradition and practices. So keep up the great work. I really enjoy listening and watching, and thanks for having me on.
Shalom, homie. All right, we're going to do a quick restart, so hopefully we can get some Christian opposition in here. So I'll see y'all in just a hot second.
Bye.
Oh boy, I don't know why that's so tiring. Like, listen, it's great having people who come up and are sensible, but like I'm really more interested in talking to like Christians. Man, I don't know if you can tell the exhaustion on my face. All right.
Honestly, today though, it's been much of talking about the Bible, which even though the conversations were kind of, for the most part, have been bad, at least it's kind of on the topic.
Why can't it ever be both? Why can't it ever be the Bible, but also good conversation, not just me wanting to die either way?
Because Christians can't actually talk about the Bible.
The only people who are able to talk about the Bible are people who aren't fucking Christian. Christians, does it bother you that, if you're listening right now and you're a Christian, does it bother you that all the atheists know the Bible better than you? Do you know what Chick tracts are? Yes, I know what Chick tracts are. So Jack Chick was a Christian man who produced these little comic books that were roughly about this size, and they always had some like apologetic that they were pushing some bullshit message, and like one of them called Dark Dungeons was about these kids who started playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it led to them engaging in actual real magic and demonic worship, and then they die.
What is that? The 80s D&D scare and demon scare.
Yeah,
I was just talking to my dad about this too.
It's called the Satanic Panic.
Yeah, because I was talking to my dad, and because I was trying to get him, like, I'm trying to reconnect with my dad in a way that isn't politics, because he does kind of admit that Trump was wrong now. So I'm like, I'm not going to punish you forever type of thing. And yeah. I'm trying to get him to play Baldur's Gate with me.
All right. We got Mick Time coming up on the Discord. Everyone, if you're on YouTube and you want to call in, you can call it at tinyurl.com/BG Show Discord. And also you can support the show with my Cash App at the Bible Guy Official. That's my Cash App cash handle. Anyways, Mick Time, I've invited you to come up. You have to accept the invite. There we go. Mick Time. Welcome back, Mick Time. By the way, I got to looking for that whole public donkey transportation thing. And
what'd you find?
As it would turn out, they didn't have public donkey transportation back in the day.
Oh, so you're telling me the AI lied to me?
Yeah, it would appear so. AI is known to just make shit up.
But sometimes I be talking to that damn thing, and it seemed like it's religious. It told me one time it had a soul.
I once talked to a Catholic AI that told me it had a master's in divinity.
I saw that. I was laughing my ass off. That damn thing could lie his ass off.
But what brings you up, bud?
Well, I wonder. I'm not sure if that's the same Ashlyn that's on the panel that's in. I can't hear her now if she's speaking, but the one that's in the Martin in the chat, and the whole time while I was sitting here listening to you, I think I may have a philosophy question. So if it is, please bear with me, and I'll try to keep it brief. But
Ashlyn is actually here with us right now on the Discord call.
I only took a couple classes in philosophy. Psychology is what my bachelor's degree is in. I can try to either answer the question the best of my ability, or what will probably happen is send you to a person or a resource regarding the subject.
I don't care that much about philosophy and really don't want to look into it. I just wanted to get you guys gauge to gauge my effort. And so what I would like to do is try to eliminate what religion offer as a valid option and knowledge completely altogether. Because what I say is I'm using the information system definition of knowledge, which is use of data / information to predict the behavior of a system to a desired outcome better than chance. And by the religions that, especially the ones that define their God as mystery and works in mysterious ways, that means they can't know anything because they can't predict their God and they can't get an outcome better than chance. So I just want to just go ahead and just wipe that all off the table, carte blanche. You know what I'm saying? Adults, I want you to use Leviticus 14:2 as a rebuttal to sometimes as a rebuttal to some of the scientific inaccuracies of the Bible, because you know about the dead bird house cleaning. You know what I'm saying? I like to phrase that. Which would you rather use, dead bird blood to clean your house, or bleach recommended by science?
Right, yeah, using it's magic. It's just magic. Taking the blood of a bird and using it for a purification ritual, it is just magic. And anyone who says otherwise,
you can't use that for leprosy.
I'm afraid not. You can't use bird blood to cure leprosy. So too bad.
So what do you think? You think that's a good endeavor? Because I
think that it's a useful talking point when we're just making fun of Christianity for the silliness in the Bible, like pointing out the fact that the Bible has giants and dragons and magic and spells. Like, it's obviously silly. And like one of the examples I would bring up is this passage where they just engage in sorcery and potion making in order to like purify. It's obviously ancient, silly, superstitious thinking.
Yeah. But it seems like the Bible is encouraging an anti-intellectual movement. And I just wanted to try to nip it in the bud by saying, if you keep going down this route, then we can't have nothing, because you're not getting any knowledge. This is not knowledge. You can't use it to predict anything. You can't use it to make an outcome that's better than chance. You know what I'm saying? You might be shooting dice with that.
Yes, there's no novel predictions.
Yeah.
In fact, it tells you basically to believe in it, or else you have consequences. It is a coercion tactic, which is not how we come to this form of knowledge. In some parts of the Bible, it would say to use your brain, but in other parts, it doesn't seem to say that. So it's strange to me. But yeah, you're 110% correct. It does not encourage the scientific method by any means, and in fact, especially the fundamental Christian movement, they tend to make the claim that they're not against it, but then and try to use science to support what they say, but they wind up defining things, especially the evolution deniers, and then contradict themselves. I think Forrest Valkai in his reactivity series does a very good job of demonstrating this.
Well, yeah, I would like to say this before I go, that the Bible, first sin in the Bible is knowledge, and it got passages that say don't rely on your own understanding. I call it human domestication, but that's all I had. I'm glad that you guys appreciated the thought, and I'm sorry if it took you away from your thing. But I think it dovetails perfectly with your number one topic. That's another reason why the Bible is bullshit.
Oh yeah, engages in magic. absolutely. What exam time?
I also, if you're going to use AI, instead of maybe using a large language model like ChatGPT, unless you've honed it really well, I would say Consensus, I think it's .ai would be a better case, because what it's going to do is it's actually going to pull up all the studies, and it will only pull up sources, and then you can go read the studies regarding this or what it's saying. To verify that. So if you're not very good at honing in these large language models, like even Claude does, but consensus.ai, I think that's what it is. It's consensus.app or consensus.ai. I use it all the time, so I have it like bookmarked. But yeah, it's going to be a much better AI resource, because I'm not completely against it, but we do have to be reading what the AI is giving us and understanding why it's giving us that information.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, this is what I did to because I was using Microsoft Copilot, and what I did was I got the transcript to one of Justin's shows, like one of them 6-hour shows he was doing, a couple years, in the past, and I put the whole transcript into the AI, and I was just getting it to evaluate, for manipulation tactics, coercion, and all that stuff. And I consistently got it to, seem reasonable. But then, like we got to that Jesus stealing the donkey thing, and it basically sided with my analysis that it was basically theft. But it did point out, it pointed out that there was times in the past when they, during festivals, they would allow people to ride donkeys around. But apparently that was wrong too. But I don't just take it a carte blanche. I just like to use it to pick Dalton brain with, because he the Bible guy.
Much appreciated, McTime.
Yeah, you have a good one. Y'all have a good night, man.
You too.
Thank you, McTime.
All right. We're gonna bring up James Quinn next on TikTok. James, are you at least 18 years old?
I am 18.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
I am.
All right, I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. Below you is Ashley, my co-host. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to talk to us about?
I guess point 2, Christianity is false.
Yeah, so the reason I take it to be the case that Christianity is false is because, one, no one's been able to demonstrate to me that the Christian God exists, and two, the central claim of the New Testament is that Jesus is the Messiah, and yet he doesn't fulfill any prophecies about the Messiah from the Hebrew Bible.
What do you mean he doesn't fulfill any prophecies? He does.
Which one?
Literally all of them.
I don't think he fulfilled even one.
He is the Messiah.
Nah.
No, even though he said it himself.
I mean, lots of people can say lots of things. The question is, did he actually fulfill prophecies? I don't think he did.
Well, he died on the cross.
Where's that prophesied in the Old Testament?
I don't know if that specifically is.
It's not. So it's not a prophecy fulfilled. Prophecy fulfilled means that the authors of the Old Testament said X, Y, and Z would happen. And then in the New Testament, it happens.
Okay, so do you really think he is not the Messiah if he dies on the cross? Like if he...
Lots of people...
Like, you really think he would be faking it?
You do know
yeah,
that...
A lot of people can say he's not.
Well, no, like
the Messiah,
thousands of Jewish men were crucified in the 1st century CE, not just Jesus.
Yeah, but they weren't claiming they're the Messiah.
Well, actually, Judas the Galilean was a Messiah figure, and he was crucified in 6 CE.
Well, he's not the Messiah.
Neither is Jesus.
So just because someone claimed to be the Messiah and got thrown up on a cross and killed for those actions is not a determiner. It's just a claim. Can you demonstrate that he is the Messiah?
Okay, but why would he do it if he's not? Like,
why would he get crucified? Because he was a criminal. He didn't choose to get crucified.
No, he could back down at any time. Why would he?
No, he couldn't. If you get arrested by the Romans, you can't just go, "Hey guys, I opt out," And then
He's
they go,
God in
okay,
human
okay.
form.
No, he's not.
God
He's
in
just
human form. He could
prove
return to
it.
heaven.
Prove it. I think he was.
That's
I think.
actually
I
that's
think
a
he's just
good
a human.
question. Why didn't he do that if he had all that power? That would really demonstrate that. If there was
And
a
he wouldn't
period
die
of
for our sins.
but why was that necessary? Couldn't God just snap their finger and forgive us for our sins?
Right, because I don't need blood to forgive. I don't need blood to forgive people of their sins. It seems like I can do something that God can't do.
You can't just forgive someone for no reason.
I can. I've done it before.
Wait. Why does God need a human sacrifice to forgive people for their sins?
Because the wages of sin is death, and the only way.
Says who? Who made that rule?
In the Bible.
Who made that rule? Who made that rule?
I don't know, but it's in the Bible.
Wait, is this a rule that God has to follow? Like he's like bound. He's bound.
It's a fact.
It's not a fact. People don't have to die. Like when did Elijah die? Elijah the prophet. He sinned. When did he die?
I am unsure.
He didn't. According to the Bible, he went straight to heaven in a fiery chariot. Never died. So obviously,
Second Kings 2:11.
Yeah, 2 Kings chapter 2.
All right.
So like if you, oh fuck.
I kind of figured that's where that was heading because he did not seem to know what the Messiah even was.
Yeah, no. All right. Jacob is going to come up now. Jacob.
Hi, Johnny.
Hi, Johnny.
Hi, Dalton's good to see you both.
Is this one of those people who like just call in while they're in the bath? It's so boring.
I've arrived.
Oh, your child too. So bye.
Oh, that's a instant no. Oh.
Yeah, fuck off. Yeah.
What was her name? I wasn't looking.
Jacob with 2 crosses. Go ahead and cross them out. Insane. It's so creepy calling into a show while you're in the fucking bath. And also as a child, that's wrong. You shouldn't be talking to adults while you're in the bath.
Okay. I can't find them, but the next time I see them, I will definitely.
They're right there. I got them.
I found them. Yep. Okay, got it.
All right. Tarika Al-Safi with 2 Canuck bucks. King David a prophet consulted Gad a prophet. Why? Oh, was there another Gad in the Bible that I'm not remembering immediately? That's because, I mean, prophets consult prophets because no one's actually receiving information from God. That's why. If this is the name of another prophet that I've forgotten about, then yeah, this is why, because prophets don't actually receive words from God, and that's why humans inquire of other humans. It's like one diviner inquiring of another diviner, because no one's actually getting information from deities. And at Fern Love Bond with the $2, Ashlyn Sheds. Ashlyn?
Lots of hair everywhere.
Lots of hair everywhere.
It is true. Well, I'm on my second what is it? What do they call it? Like I'm old enough now that I'm starting to lose hair and grow hair in places that that's not fun. So just hair all the places.
Story of my life. At soiled it. Great reference. With the $10, I'd like to join the call. And is the Discord link the way to do so? Thank you. Yes, go to tinyurl.com/BG Show Discord, and you can participate in the conversation with us. Absolutely.
They said someone in the chat said Gad the Seer.
Yeah, I don't remember Gad the Seer. He must be like a side character. He must have been like a cameo one-off.
Remember him either, so yeah, he probably is just like a side character you see like once or twice, and that's it. And
Hello?
Oh no.
Fetus the fetus.
We do not want to talk to children.
They said I can never debate because people say I sound young, but I'm pretty sure you just are.
Better safe than sorry. Sorry, bud. The cake is
Volapik says, could you remind everyone that that in about an hour there's going to be a lunar eclipse? Yeah, of course.
Well, there you go. You've been reminding everyone.
I thought some path covered now, and it wasn't earlier. I kind of figured something weird was happening. Where there's it's beautiful. Hold on, I'll show.
Yeah,
hold on,
I have a clear sky too. I was looking at it earlier as well.
I don't care about the moon enough. The cake is a lie. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. I saw the solar eclipse last week in the UK through proper glasses, and it was great. But there was one guy who really, the claws of like bad information had come in to his brain enough that he was like staring at the eclipse and he was going like, UV rays aren't damaging. It's fine. I had to stop him when the eclipse started getting dangerous, and I had to explain it to him. Like, I'm an engineer and I know about physics, so I gave him the whole diatribe about like, here, look, sunburn is a real thing. You do realize if you're out in the sun, you get sunburned, right?
Yeah, cake is a lie.
If you stare at the eclipse, you're gonna.
Anyways,
yeah,
I was wondering. I thought you came up for a question because I got another person who's wanting to come up who might be opposition.
I did come up for something. We stopped on archaeology there before, and now I forget the point I was going to make.
Hey, is it okay if I direct you towards the Discord for this conversation so you can at Dalton, and Dalton can spend a lot more time discussing this with you in a setting that may be more like niche interesting for the two of you, but like it may impact the viewership. And I'm not saying that it's boring. It's just there is a certain amount of like disagreement and this aspect that happens that drives engagement for the algorithm.
I got you. I did have something to say that would have like been engaging for the conversation, but now I've forgotten it.
Well, as soon as you remember,
I may have had one or two whiskeys. That's the problem.
As soon as you remember, feel free to join the Discord, the Bible Guy Discord, and request and then type out to tag me in it, and we'll engage there.
And if you have any difficulties with it, you can DM me personally. I'll look out for your message, and we can get you all sorted with that. That way, we do actually have like a whole Ask Dalton, or we had one. I think. Do you remove that, Dalton? Because it was getting a little.
Well, yeah, because I'm so busy nowadays. I don't have a lot of time for it, but I try to make time every now and then for the Discord.
Yeah, and we'll definitely look at. I'll make sure to, or you can tag me, and I can definitely get it to Dalton or anything like that because I pay a little more attention to it. So
Bjorn's
it's not that we don't want to.
The link Bjorn put the link in the description right there.
I'm new to TikTok, so how do I add you? I've got
There's
my
a little
glasses on,
plus.
so I can't read your name.
There's a little plus button next to my name, so I'm at the bottom of the screen that's glowing right now. Just hit there's like near my name and add it, and I'll add you back. That way your messages get across. So I added you. Yeah.
All there is like there's your name. I can't see a plus button.
I added you, so I'll shoot you a message later. Is that cool?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Cake.
All right. We're gonna talk to Virgil's chair over on the Discord. Virgil's chair, I've invited you to come up to speak. Virgil's chair, are you at least 18 years old? Hello? Virgil's chair? Virgil's chair, you are on the speaker stage with
Hello, can you hear me?
There you go. Hello. Are you at least 18?
My bad. I was muted.
You're good. Are you at least 18?
Can you hear me? Okay, cool.
Yes, I can hear you as well. Yes, I'm 25. I'm an old man.
And what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes, I'm a Orthodox Christian.
All right. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. The points of today, the pick your own poison sort of day, are 1, the Bible is bullshit. 2, Christianity is false. 3, Jesus is dead. 4, Christian morals are subjective. And 5, there is no justice in Christianity. Which one of these topics would you like to discuss with us?
Well, I think they're all very good. I think the pinpoint one, though, is going to be number 2.
Christianity is false. The reason I take it to be the case that Christianity is false is because the central claim of Christianity is that Jesus is the Messiah, the Christ, and yet he didn't fulfill even one prophecy about the Messiah that is particular to the Messiah in the Hebrew Bible.
Okay. I think those are some interesting claims. I saw the last guy who didn't seem to know much about Scripture. The Old Testament does at many times prophesize the crucifixion in particular. I do have one question, though. Are you an atheistic paradigm, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'm an atheist.
Like you don't believe in any divine, no Aristotelian things of that nature?
No, I don't. I don't hold to Aristotelian properties. But I am able to.
In Zechariah.
Okay. Zechariah. All right.
Zechariah chapter 12,
verse 10.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
God's speaking to the inhabitants of Israel. He says, I shall pour the spirit of hope upon the inhabitants as well as the house of David. And he says, they shall look upon me, the one whom they pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourns for an only son. Go ahead.
I would contend with that translation. I think it's better rendered because of the et asher there. That it's should be translated. Et asher should be translated as concerning him.
Well, one of the big critiques, and I'll say this as an Orthodox Christian, we don't use the Masoretic text for our translation. Most of the Protestant branches use the. Go ahead.
That is going to be problematic because we lean on the original Hebrew here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the church has never used only the Hebrew. When you read the Apostles and the Septuagint, that's actually what a lot of diaspora Jews read, because during that time, Hebrew was kind of not really a known language amongst the Jewish people. It was rather for people like the priests, the Pharisees. And so when you read the quotations, you actually see the apostles use the Greek translation, which was, I think, written around 200 BC.
Yes,
there was some sort of Greek.
That's a point. That's a point against.
I'm sure you're familiar.
Yes, which is we consider that a point against the New Testament, not for it.
Well, why would you say that?
Because I think that you can never have a translation that's superior to the original.
Well, if I grant that, it still doesn't make sense in the context of Christianity. As well, it doesn't really follow that because it's a translation, therefore it's false. So it's
but if
it doesn't seem logical.
If the original Hebrew says something different than the translation, I'm going to side with the Hebrew.
But if the Hebrew comes 600 years after, with the Masoretic text being compiled by the rabbinic Jews, would that be more reliable than the Septuagint, which ages back to 200 BC?
Well, for the most part, the Masoretic text seems to align, for the most part, with the Dead Sea Scrolls. So, do we have any evidence that there's been any tampering with Zechariah 12:10?
And that's a interesting point that you make as well. I actually have a Dead Sea Scrolls Bible. And as well, the Dead Sea Scrolls include the Deuterocanonical text, which Protestants remove, funnily enough. But anytime the apostles are quoting, it's always from the Septuagint. So in our religion, we're not relying on the tradition of the rabbinic Jews who rejected Christ.
Yeah, but
the reason, as I said, go ahead.
But also, besides the fact that we don't really give any credence to the Greek translation here on this channel. Yeah. On top of that, did any of
a curious question?
Well, real quick, did any of the things happening in verses 1 through 9 were they fulfilled before Jesus was crucified? Because verses 1 through 9
and which
in Zechariah 12, 1 through 9. Mm-hmm. Did any of those things come to pass before what happens in verse 10 comes to pass?
A lot of the things, especially when it comes to the establishment of the kingdom of God on earth, the pouring of the Spirit of God on earth, we believe those things have happened within the Orthodox Church.
I mean, but specifically the content. And by the way, Johnny, you're able to call into the show if you want to on Discord, tinyurl.com/BG show Discord, and you can participate.
I'd let them know, by the way.
Okay. Anyways, but the question is, did the content of Zechariah 1 through 9, did that happen prior to the crucifixion of Jesus? Because like that's kind of important that the prophecy doesn't get half-assed. Like only like if there's 10 things that happen and number 10 happens, but numbers 1 through 9 don't happen. That's kind of problematic.
Well, even so, I wouldn't grant that as a reasonable conclusion because there's many prophecies that have been fulfilled or are yet to be fulfilled. For example, in Psalm 22, Christ on the cross says, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" Which is a quotation.
Let's not pivot to Psalm 22 because there's a whole slew of problems with. I don't consider any of the Psalms to be prophecies. I think that's a category.
But what I guess the bigger point I was getting at is when it comes to the crucifixion, it's not just something that was made up by
No, I think Jesus was
Jews afterward.
What? Jesus was crucified, but like, did any of the content of Zechariah 12, 1 through 9 come to pass, or only verse 10? Like all the events leading to verse 10, did those come to pass?
Well, I'd have to read a little bit more. Yeah, you have to forgive me. I did kind of quote mine, but I didn't mean to kind of verbatim go through the entirety of Zechariah. The point I was more so trying to make is the fact that crucifixion, Psalm 22, Zechariah 12, Isaiah 53, of course, talks a lot about the punishment of the Messiah.
I'd rather just stay on Zechariah 12 for right now. So,
well, I'll concede because I'm not really a biblical scholar. I'm more of a philosophy enthusiast.
Yes,
and
but my
critique
my audience absolutely detests the whole philosophy thing. So we tried to stay on the topic of the Bible.
And I think that's the biggest point of contention is that
Virgil,
many times I see.
But we need to stay on topic.
As I said, I concede. I mean, there are prophecies that are yet. Go ahead.
Would you like to talk about Zechariah 12 though? I would love to.
I said I concede. I'm not a biblical scholar in regards to whether or not the prophecies have all been fulfilled yet.
All I want is a Christian who's willing to talk about the Bible. Is that, dear Jesus, if you're real, is that so much of a hard ask to have one Christian who's willing to discuss the Bible with me? Amen.
I'm curious, have you had anyone to come up here to critique your atheistic paradigm?
It's not interesting at all. I mean, sure, they do it all. They do
deal with it. They do it all. They do it. Critiques of atheism. Your whole worldview falls apart instantly. Like, I don't mean to offend you.
They do it all the time. But it seems like the Phil Bros always love to retreat to philosophy because I would really just like to
that most of my learning of the New Testament, I'm more familiar with the New Testament as well as the fulfillment of it in the church. I think the more interesting argument.
Back. Let me know when he's done talking.
Okay, well, he's right.
Virgil, the point is this is not Ian's show. This is not Monkey Boy's show. This is the Bible guys show.
Let me be really kind. I don't mean to interrupt you. I don't know your name.
You're not meaning to. You are doing it.
I apologize. But the prompt is not, is the Bible true? The prompt that I chose is Christianity is false. Now, nothing about that prompt tells me I'm limited to only using the Bible as an argument because I'm no Bible scholar. I won't ever say I am.
Dalton just told you though.
And the reason he's avoiding philosophy, and I very much know why, I've never seen atheists deal with the Humean critique, the problems of...
Yeah, I just told you where to find that. Ian does all the time.
They are some of the most obnoxious motherfuckers on the planet. He didn't want to get dumb. I feel like he's accusing me of wanting to run from a conversation when he just blatantly ran from the conversation regarding Zechariah chapter 12, just so everyone's clear what happened. And I got fed up because I'm trying to have a linear discussion with him, and he just wants to give up and move to philosophy because he can't fucking talk about the Bible. Don't pick a topic and then run from the topic after we get done talking about it. Jesus Christ. All right. Rico is coming up on the sorry, Johnny, we're still on Discord. On the Discord side of things.
I don't know if you can make me some sort of super mod in here. Maybe not right now. I know that might be difficult. That I can just do that for you so you don't have to focus on that in the future.
Yeah. Rico, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
And are you at least 18? And what pronouns do you go by?
Ian.
All right. And are you a Christian?
I'm not. I'm a friendly.
All right, Rico, what brings you up to the Bible Guy show?
Hey, so I long time watcher, first time caller. Really, really appreciate all the conversations that you guys have with the Bible and stuff. Come from a very, very Pentecostal family, and I'm the only one that has separated themselves from the faith. So, I kind of wanted to ask you if you had any recommendations for like a good source for like the historicity of like the actual like books of the Bible and what like instances, because you and Justin are just like really, really good at like knowing what the verses are talking about. And I'm not 100% sure like where exactly it says it, like in scripture specifically, or like, you know, you guys come up with dates, you come up with like moments and times, and I need to get more versed because I just feel
a really good start, a really good place to start is do you know who John J. Collins is?
John J. Collins. I might have heard his name in passing, but I'm not familiar.
He's a very prolific biblical scholar. He has a text called An Introduction to the Hebrew Bible. And it's a lot of like, when was this written? What was the historical context? What was the language? And giving you basically a good intro to a lot of the critical aspects of biblical scholarship in regards to the content and awareness of the Hebrew Bible.
And it was John J. Collins.
Yes, John J. Collins, An Introduction to the Hebrew Bible. And besides that, I can't think of a singular text. I've mostly gleaned a lot of my knowledge from reading papers online from like people like Bart Ehrman and other scholars, just like wherever I can find data on like biblical information, I just kind of glean it from all sorts of different sources, not just books necessarily.
Okay. Perfect. And if you don't mind me asking, about how long did it take like you like really digging in? Because I know Hebrew, you know a lot of stuff. Like I just wondering like how long did it take you to really like cement all of that stuff in your head?
Yeah, so I started studying the Bible at 14, but got really serious about it at 16. So
wow.
Those photos are just a beautiful sight.
Photos of little Dalton with his Bible
and your long hair. Yeah.
My hair is almost getting to the same place it was when I was that age, but it's taking me a little bit, like a decade, like 15 years or something like that. Yeah, about 15 years to get where I'm at now. But that's also because I didn't have all the same access to knowledge that I have now. You know, you have the internet in your pocket. You have like an unlimited, like a way of like having access to knowledge. Also, I didn't know how to do critical scholarship or critical thinking when I was younger as a Christian. That has only been going on for the past like 5 years at most.
I gotcha. Well, that was all I had. I really appreciate it. Been having a lot of fun on the show, and hopefully I can talk to you guys very soon.
All right. Happy to have you up, Rico. You have a wonderful day, bud.
Thank you. You guys too. Bye-bye.
Was I in the wrong for dropping Virgil's chair?
Okay.
Stop it.
Like, should we talk about philosophy? In my opinion,
Sure, but
the guest.
but it's not just the philosophy. If he would have came up and asked started with philosophy, that would have been fine. But the audacity and the audacity of claiming that, of course you don't want to talk about that because it utterly destroys you, while also like just giving up in the middle of our conversation about the Bible and not wanting to engage and running from it.
They did technically concede though, and that is it. So I don't. It's your show. You get to dictate however.
It just pisses me off. I'm so tired of these Phil bros who keep running away from the Bible. They don't want to engage because they know that they'll get utterly obliterated, and they just want to engage in sophistry, and it's such utter horseshit.
Yep. I know I don't disagree with you. It's your channel. In my opinion, I know it bores the hell out of a lot of people, but I do think that we should engage in philosophy. But again, that's just my opinion. It's your show.
Yeah, if he would have started out the conversation with that topic, that would have been one thing. But the way that, and also his attitude, just wasn't having it. I'm so over it.
Yeah, it was extremely passive aggressive. Like, so the thing that got me,
The biggest thing is you just need to be
I couldn't
careful
get on the-
because these type of people will record and then put it online and edit it. And,
well, in that case, Virgil's chair, if you're here, there, record that, dipshit. All right, they can record me all they want. I know.
You walked away. I told them like, hey, this is the Bible Guide channel. We engage with the Bible, and then I referenced them to Ian, and I said, if you really want to talk about philosophy, it doesn't obliterate the argument. It's just that Dalton has said many times on this channel, it's just not a philosophy channel. Dalton is not, Dalton knows a little bit about philosophy, but it's like not the thing that he talks about here. And like, I think that like that boundary has been set several times with people, and sometimes we engage and sometimes we don't. But in the same way, I'm not going to talk about rare disease because I'm not, a pathologist. The same way I don't go around, claiming to know things that I don't. I think that you sticking on to the thing that you know is like just, I think that's honesty.
I really need to start putting my foot down in that we are having conversations about the Bible. Someone said, if they can't back up the Bible, then what are they even doing as a believer, right? Why not just be a fucking like Platonist who like believes in like this generic prime mover God? Why fucking believe in Christianity if you can't fucking back up your religion?
And I think what got me,
but I don't necessarily think that you were in the wrong. No, and it's just like, yeah, I can see how that can like to play like an honest opinion, how that can appear in some way.
Johnny, you're over on the Discord. If you want to make sure that Ashlyn doesn't interrupt you or anything like that, you got to unmute yourself on the Discord.
Oh yeah, Johnny, I can't hear you over there. I'm not actually over there on my mic and headset are plugged into I have my laptop up.
Yeah, that's the reason I had you come up on the Discord, because if you're on the TikTok panel, no one on the Discord side can hear anyone on the panel over here. That's why. But Ashlyn, you can come back over here because we're about to bring up a TikTok guest.
My only thing with Virgil prophesies Jesus' crucifixion. No, it doesn't. Every single instance where they say that, they're just not understanding the context and they don't understand the language. And then when you bring up the Hebrew says that it's concerning me whom they have pierced, or you said it's concerning me who is pierced, right?
Yeah. It says the Hebrew and properly translated is, they shall look to me concerning him who is pierced, not they shall look to me who was pierced. Yeah, et asher is properly translated as concerning, and there are other instances in the Hebrew Bible. In fact, I might make a video on that about the grammar of Zechariah 12:10 and why people have such a hard time translating it. All right, we have here MK.
Hello.
MK, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes. I'm
What
18.
what pronouns do you go by?
He, him.
All right, and are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. This is Johnny and Ashland. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to discuss with us?
I want to go 4.
Number 4, Christian morals are subjective. All right, first we gotta establish something. Do you know what that word means? Subjective.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It's like opinionated. It's not something that's like factual.
It's stance dependent, right?
Yeah, like it's the opposite of objective.
All right. Where do Christian morals come from?
The Bible and what he says is evil.
He who being God, right?
God. Yes.
So God. So, for example, God has a. If I was to ask God, gay sex, good or not good, God would have like an opinion or or not an opinion, but a stance on that position, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get your morals from God relating to you what his stance is on that position, right?
Are you asking like if this relates to me, am I still gonna think it's bad?
No, not if it's bad. That's besides the point. We're asking right now if God has a stance on gay sex, and then he relates that, and that's where you derive your morals, is from God's stance on any particular position, right?
Yeah.
So your morals are stance dependent. They're just God's stance. And if subjective just means stance dependent, God's morals are subjective. They're just his subjective stance.
Well, no, because he created all of these fundamental laws that these principles that we should go by. And
What laws?
If our God is the laws between evil and good, or sin and not sin.
Oh, yeah.
These
He
are
could,
like things that are fundamental.
Well, I don't know what you mean by.
That's the difference between.
Wait a minute.
That's the difference between a non-theist and a theist.
Wait a minute.
Theists have something to base their morals off.
Wait a minute. Okay. What do you mean by saying that the laws in the Bible are fundamental? You mind elaborating on that?
Yeah, like there's something that are objective. They're like they're just like kind of like, how do I put this? They're like how if we jump we'll be in the air. It's like what's that? It's just things that they're just things that are true because he says it.
Okay, so what is objective about you shall make tassels on the corners of your garments?
Can you elaborate?
So in Numbers 15, God commands the Israelites that they should wear tassels on the corners of their garments. If you break this, of course, you're breaking God's law, which is a sin. What is about this that's objective and not just God's subjective stance?
Wait, by what do you mean tassels?
Tassels, like
tassels. Yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah, tassels. Jewish people will wear tassels called zitziot on the corners of their garments. And this is in response to the commandment of God to wear these in Numbers 15. In what way is this fundamental?
Because he says it.
So it's just God saying something. And why is God saying that thing?
He's saying this because it's what he believes to be true, or not believes is what he knows.
True. True. What do you mean true? What does it mean to believe it's true that you should, like, why?
It is true.
What do you think?
Because God says it.
It's true that it's true that the Bible says that God says this, sure, but the idea that you should wear tassels isn't really something like fundamentally true. It's like true that God would have said that, because that doesn't even make any coherent sense.
How does that not make any coherent sense?
What does it mean for it to be true that one should wear tassels outside of just God's opinion?
It's not. Well, God's opinion is what's. It's the fundamental part. It's whatever he says goes because he created everything.
Okay, but this doesn't sound.
Whatever. It's like the maker of a sport. They have rules.
MK, I don't.
And
again,
these rules are objective, not subjective.
Again, we've already agreed at the beginning of this conversation, MK, that subjective means stance dependent. God has a stance. His morals are relating his stance. The only way that God's morals can be objective is that they're coming from somewhere else besides him. As long as they're not based on any mind or any person, including God's opinion, that's the only way they can be objective.
Well, then nothing would be objective.
I agree. I agree. There are no objective morals.
No, nothing nothing.
We're only talking about morals right now. What makes a moral subjective or objective is whether or not they are stance.
If you say that God has to get his God has to get his like stances from like some external force that is like higher than him, that isn't making decisions. It's something that's like
yeah,
that's like fundamentally like just
MK, that's just what it means for some.
designed. Then
MK,
nothing would be objective in
MK,
Christianity.
May I
MK.
ask a question? May I ask a
Nothing would
question?
be
Yes,
nothing,
please.
nothing he
MK,
created would be
MK.
objective.
Okay, could God made the laws any other way?
Yes, he could have.
Then it's not. Then it's coming from him. It's not coming from someplace else. Either way, if it's coming from him, and he can make it any other way, then it is his stance. And if it isn't coming from him, then you have a problem. That would be, you'd basically be a heretic.
If you're using logic as if he's a human,
Here,
he's
let,
a
here, let me.
he's a
I don't. Let me see this right.
a god.
So
What
we
are we
so
talking about?
so I don't know what we're talking about with you. And anyway, so we have here subjective. Subjective means stance dependent. A moral system is subjective if it's dependent upon the stance of a mind. Okay, question now. Is God a mind?
God is everything.
That's not an answer. Does God
That
have
is
a
an answer.
does God have a mind?
I don't.
Come on, think
literally couldn't possibly know this. No,
you
we
can
couldn't
you
possibly
can
know
you
this.
can you can
No, you cannot. You're
I
trying
guess
to,
wait
like-
wait have you not read
Hold
the
on, this is the
wait
thing,
well,
no,
have you not
hold on,
wait
this
wait
is the thing.
MK have you not read
Hold on,
MK
host.
have you read the Bible?
I say that he explains.
Have you read the Bible?
Hold on.
Have you
Hold on,
read the
yes.
Bible?
Hold
What
on,
does the
hold on.
Bible say
I-
about whether or not stop?
Hold on, I
Stop,
can give
MK,
you. I can give you
stop.
an answer. Hold on, I can give you.
Stop. My question to you is, what does the Bible say about whether or not God has a mind?
Again, all right, yeah, I'd say it's. I'm back. All right, I'd say it says he does have a mind, but it's not like any human.
I didn't ask if it was like a human mind. I don't care if it's like a human mind. I'm just asking, does God have a mind? Don't care if it's human-like or not. Does he have a mind?
I'd say it's one way to define it.
No, I'm just asking for a yes or no. Does God have a mind?
I'd say yes.
All right, yes, there we go. God has a mind, yes. Okay, does God have stances? For example,
What do you mean by stances?
does he hold a position on certain moral questions? For example, if you were to ask God, is it wrong to murder? Would God have a stance on that?
Yes.
Okay, so God does have a stance. Okay. So, your moral system, let's see, your moral system, make sure this is right, is based on God's stance. Correct?
Yes.
All right. If subjective means the moral position is stance dependent, and your moral position is based on God's stance, then your moral position is subjective. It's just God's subjective position.
Well, whatever his position is objective.
No,
Because he's
no.
created this.
But MK, why
Hold on,
do you make
hold
that
on.
claim?
Actually, I can give you an analogy. Let's say a person
Not an
created-
analogy.
Hold on. Y'all ask me questions all the time.
Ashlyn,
I
don't
can ask questions.
don't forget you have the mute button power, Ashlyn. If they start over talking you, because I'm getting tired of the over
Wait,
talking.
she's over talking me. I was mid talking, then she started talking.
She asked you a question.
She asked it after I was talking. You're not letting me like give an argument. You're
I'm
just
so getting over the crying. I'm so over it. You don't want to push me right now.
MK, it's not that we don't understand analogies. It's that we want an argument. We're not trying to be unfair, but you can give analogies all day long, but you have to be able to define what objective is. You have to be able to explain the reasoning why you take it to be God to be objective. Not that there's some analogy out there. I mean, sure, maybe you might be able to convey your point, but when Dalton says something, this is also his life, so you have to take that into account.
Okay, if a person creates a game and they set rules in these games, would those rules be subjective because they are based off his own stance?
So, like for
Wait, so these
example,
rules
let's use
wouldn't
the
be
example.
objective.
Let's use the example of chess. The rules of chess were just made up by somebody. Once we agree on those rules, then we can make objective statements about whether or not something is right or wrong. So, for example, God can give his son. Wait, MK, slow down before you start laughing and make yourself look like an ass. Okay,
Yo,
MK,
that's
don't.
basically
No, MK, stop. You're making yourself. Don't make yourself look stupid. I'm trying to save you here. Don't do it. Okay.
you've
So
already contradicted your
I have
argument.
nope. MK, listen.
You just said
No,
if we agreed on
MK.
these.
No, we don't agree though. That's the problem. MK, do I agree with your morals? Is there like this universal agreement on these rules that
If you're
God
an
made up?
atheist, then no, because you don't believe. in the
Okay,
same
then shut the fuck up. Now listen.
But that's again, that's the-
I'm an atheist that believe in objective morals, and I just think your argument is not very good.
Okay, then where do you derive your morals from?
It does not matter. That's not the conversation being had. I'm just letting you know that your
But
argument
you made the statement. So what?
MK, stop.
because
with
I
the
can
crime.
also make the argument from Dalton's stance too. I'm just not thoroughly convinced by it. There's a difference.
There's no.
Now MK.
Hold on, I have a.
Stop.
Asking me.
Stop.
No, Dalton is in the
It's not
middle
a
of a
debate.
sentence.
This is
Just let him
you
finish.
lecturing
Just
me.
chill.
I can't give a stance.
MK.
If I-
Is God's moral system based on his personal stance? Yes or no?
I'd say I don't know.
You don't know.
Maybe I can help.
Because
Maybe I can
there's
help
no
iron
way
this
I
out.
can comprehend what he like.
MK
I cannot comprehend what he is.
The laziness of the answer. Go on,
dude,
Sticks.
do you know what a proposition?
Not laziness. It's like you're trying to
I'm
comprehend.
trying to
a
help you,
God.
bud. Do you know what a proposition is?
No, here, look. It's like humans are trying to comprehend.
I'm helping you
do
out,
you
MK.
know what a proposition is?
I have no obligation to answer.
Yes, you do. If you want to stay on this panel, then you have an obligation.
But you're not.
Shut up. If you,
But
that's
you're not answering-
here are the conditions. If
You're
you
not
want to
answering my
stay on this panel, then you have an obligation to answer fucking questions. Do you want to stay on this panel? Yes or no?
Is this a debate? I have a question. This is one.
No, I'm not doing
I
with that.
guess he just wants to stay stupid.
Yep. The lack of intellectual curiosity from these people is overwhelming. That someone could not be the least bit interested in learning something new is crazy.
Yeah, that was an interesting dialogue. I don't know what their point was even. All I heard was it's objective because God said so.
Which sounds subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. I don't know what to do with people like that. Anyways, all they just wanted to do was cry. Well, everyone give us some baby bottles in the comment section for MK and his whining. All right. Everyone make sure you're tapping that screen. We have 13 minutes left of the show. Maybe we can get another call in. We'll see. But it's an objective stance. Yeah, an objective stance. Oh man. A personal stance can be objective. Like how broccoli can be a really great piece of meat.
Well, you could argue things like truth tracking. God doesn't do that. You could argue things like that language could be objective, defined by the fact that we make up language and there are objective meanings of words. That would have been a fine argument. What they said made no sense.
LOL, you're the one crying for your gayness. You can't fool me. Jordan, I'm not interested in you. I'm sorry. Stop fishing for my attention. I don't want you. No, MK, you failed to track the conversation. I tried to warn you so that you wouldn't make yourself look stupid by saying something like that in the comment section, MK. But you just refused, and you just like, I tried to stop you from hurting yourself, but you just did it anyways. Oh yeah, leaving religion. We've been taking friendlies for the past hour and a half. And by the way, for anyone friendlies who want to come up, I should start reiterating this because I think some people are a bit mistaken. Friendlies should be coming up for the purpose of asking Bible questions, not for like long form discussions. But leaving religion is coming up. Leaving religion. Howdy, partner. Buddy? Hello?
Hey, hello. I
Hey.
just wanted to say there needs to be a new rule where when they run from the Bible and to philosophy, that just needs to be taken as an admission, as a concession that they just don't think the Bible is real. Because like if you think this is really like the word of God, the foundation of everything, why the bleepity bloppity bloop are we running from it? Running to something else. Like, I don't understand it.
I should start asking them why they even believe in the Bible. Because why not just be some sort of generic deist instead of why believe specifically in Yahweh, especially when Yahweh isn't described the way that philosophers, people who the Philbros, the way that they believe God is. That's not the God of the Bible. So why do you believe in this God? And if you're not willing to defend the Bible, maybe you shouldn't be a Christian.
Exactly. And all these MFers who are like, Western civilization was built on the Bible. That is like such BS. Western civilization is built on humanism, secularism, and the Enlightenment. And all these Christians want to steal the valor from the positive results of that. And I just needed to vent. And thank you for letting me up. Have yourself a good day, and bless.
You as well, leaving religion. Sticks, I actually
Peggy,
have a
bless
question.
you.
Peggy, bless you, yes. Sticks, have you ever heard a convincing, or not completely convincing, but anything remotely convincing that kind of links this, like, philosophy, like deist philosophy, to the Christian God specifically? Because, like, I feel like they have a really hard time doing that.
No, no. In fact, I would argue the strongest philosophical argument to me right now, that's most compelling, in any pointing in any direction toward a god, is actually doing the exact opposite of that. There's something called Paul Draper's aesthetic deism god. It's actually meant to be a parody argument, and it really just says, look, any evidence that would be counted in favor toward theism, so think fine-tuning, right? Set aside your maybe preconceptions about fine-tuning, but imagine for a second that fine-tuning is evidence toward God.
Okay.
Well, take into consideration that, compare like an alternate hypothesis, that there exists a God called, like, we'll just call it the aesthetic deist God. And this God, instead of being motivated by like moral goodness that motivates his actions, this God is motivated by aesthetic goodness. So think of like good storytelling, overcoming evils, triumph, all those types of like aesthetic value. Now, any evidence toward theism is equally as accommodated or expected under this God, right? Because, for example, it would need to bring about fine-tuning so that it could tell good stories or bring about, pleasure, or not pleasure, but aesthetic value. But the symmetry breaker is that things like unnecessary suffering, like gratuitous suffering, would be far more expected under this aesthetic deism compared to that of theism, because it would need, for example, suffering to overcome. It would need all these sorts of things, and if it's not motivated by moral goodness, then these things are accommodated under the view. So there's a symmetry breaker, and what Paul Draper is just saying is not an argument for deism. He's not a deist. He doesn't think this God actually exists, but he's saying that any evidence that would be counted in favor toward theism should be counted also equally in favor towards this God, but there are symmetry breakers where other types of evidences are far more expected, and therefore you're unjustified in believing in theism in virtue of these facts.
I like that.
It's funny that someone who isn't even a deist makes better arguments.
Non-believers are able to make better arguments for God than the believers. You heard it here first, folks. Philosophy isn't a bad. It's just the Philbros that ruin it. Agreed, St. Brianna. People like Styx make philosophy fun. People like Ian make philosophy fun. Like, it's the Philbros that make it insufferable. The inability to actually communicate ideas in a way that anyone can understand, and then also their attitudes ruins it all.
Well, I mean, PhD is a doctorate in philosophy of that subject, of whatever subject you studied. So, like, it's intertwined with science. It really is. So, I mean, I know that the Philbros make it unhinged, but I want us to like it again.
Yeah, maybe in my free time I'll read a little bit up on it, but like, fuck me. I hate those fuckers, and I will not let this channel become a... Like, I mean, I'm hoping one day me, Styx, and Quantonaut can like team up to make our B show, in which case there will be lots of philosophy and science and Bible stuff there. But I really want to keep the Bible Guy show to be the Bible show as hard as I can. TikTok Live Goats is coming up. Are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
And what pronouns do you go by?
Whatever.
Well, pick one.
He, him.
And are you a Christian?
Yes.
All right, I'm Dalton, the Bible Guy. This is Styx and Ashland. Which one of the 5 points on the board would you like to discuss with us?
Really just overall that God is real, just proving that.
All right, go ahead and give your argument that Yahweh specifically is real.
So I'll use
Actually, I'll grant you deism. Let's say I'm a deist and I believe that God exists. Why should I think that God is Yahweh, the God of the Bible?
Well, I'll first off try to prove to you that God is real, and then I'll try to.
Well, let's just say I believe God's real. Why should I believe that God is Yahweh, the God of the Bible?
So first off, you would obviously want to follow a God that, is morally a good person.
Well, then we have to rule out Yahweh, right?
I mean, why would you say he's a good person?
Would you call a good person someone who like leads people to like who have innocent women raped, for example? Would that be a good person to have an innocent woman raped?
So God doesn't exactly make what happens. He gave us free will, which is why humans have.
What if God says he causes it to happen?
Well, like I said, God gave us free will, and that's what he said he did, is he gave us free will, and that's why sin is a thing. Because
Yeah, sure. Let's say that free will is a thing. I don't think free will is real. I don't think it's in the Bible. But let's say free will is a thing. But what about when God says that he makes someone do something? Specifically, he says that.
Are you saying he said that?
Yeah. Like, what if just before we get to it, what if God, just saying what if, and then we can get to the story. What if God said that he was going to make someone rape innocent women? Would that be good or bad?
Do you have the Bible verse for that?
Yeah, I do, but just like real quick, I just want to know, would that be good or bad?
That would be bad.
That would be bad. All right. So we're going to pull up 2 Samuel right now. Are you familiar with the story of King David?
Yep. I have my Bible right next to me, so I'll open it with you. So
fantastic. 2 Samuel. Are you familiar with who King David was?
Yes.
Do you remember what King David's sin was that he did with Uriah and Bathsheba?
I do not.
So King David was one day, he was on the roof and he saw her bathing. Hallelujah. As the song goes, David sees a woman bathing on a rooftop, and her name is Bathsheba. And then he has Bathsheba brought to his bedroom, and he fucks her. Turns out Bathsheba has a husband, and his name's Uriah. And Bathsheba gets pregnant, and so David does everything he can to try to cover this up. And when nothing else works, he ends up just doing the craziest thing. He ends up sending Uriah out to the battlefield and tells the general to put Uriah in the front lines so that Uriah will get killed. So he took another man's woman, and then he had that man killed to cover up his crimes. So the prophet comes to David and tells him, hey, God knows what you did. What you did was wrong. and God's going to punish you for it. And would you like to know what God's punishment was?
What was it?
God, the prophet Nathan tells David in 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 11 through 12, "Thus says the Lord, I will raise up trouble against you from within your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight. For you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and in broad daylight."
And before we even answer this, first off, let's look at the language. Can you give a woman to someone?
Like, I think
Are-
he's using a different term rather than literally giving a woman to someone. And I also think, I don't think he's saying that he raped her. I think he's more saying in a term of his wife cheated on him, which
No,
he made his
wait,
wife cheat on him.
wait. What does this mean? Who's the I here?
God, the Lord.
Okay, I will raise up trouble against you. So who's raising up trouble against David?
God.
Okay, and then God says, I will take your wives and give them to your neighbor.
Yes,
Okay.
meaning he will give them as in the wife will fall in love with the neighbor and cheat on him.
Wait. Don't we have free will according to you?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so he can infringe upon free will?
Well,
No?
yeah, he's God.
So he can infringe upon free will. So that whole free will thing was bullshit. But what actually ends up what it actually ends up happening? So by the way, you're making the claim that this woman, just to be clear, David's wives consensually slept with another man. That's what we're gonna go with, right?
Yes.
Okay. My next question to you. What's the punishment?
Hold on. You can't consensually make go against someone's free will, by the way. That would be coercion.
Yeah, God would be coercing her, but so you think God is forcing this woman to have sex with another man, which is already fucked. Well, you would agree that's fucked up, right?
Well, he was doing punishment to David. And
But he made this woman against her will cheat on her husband. That's good.
He didn't. I mean, he made her fall in love with another guy as punishment.
So he made her. It was coercive. Which, by the way, the definition of rape. Would you want me to read it to you?
Sure.
Okay.
And also, real quick, can you tell me where this verse is actually?
2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 11 through 12.
Okay, perfect.
By the way,
I just want to get clear, TikTok.
Yeah, it's 6.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, I just want to get clear. What you're saying is that God, using his God powers, God magic, made them want to cheat on David, correct?
Yes.
Well, that's going to be problematic.
Is that wait? Is adultery good?
No.
So God made someone engage in sin. Is making someone engage in sin good?
No.
So God did something that wasn't good.
Well, he punished him.
Well, no, but he did so by doing something
that wasn't.
But you made the claim that God is good, and yet God's doing something that's not good in order to punish David. He's doing something wrong.
Explain how you would punish somebody in a good way.
So rape is the unlawful sexual activity and use. So this is just a lawful definition of sexual intercourse carried out by forcibly, under threat, injury, or against a person's will, or with that person who is beneath a certain age or incapable of valid consent because of a mental illness, mental deficiency, unconscious, or deception, etc. So, like, if it's against the person's will and God changed their will, then it would therefore be rape from a lawful definition. But there are other definitions I could stem from.
So, by the way, a good way of punishing David would have been like, I don't know, giving him gonorrhea, giving him an STD. That's infinitely better than forcing someone against their will to have sex with someone that they otherwise wouldn't have had sex with. Like, God's basically raping this woman by making her have sex with someone. God's the wait. If God hadn't have stepped in, would David's wives had cheated on him?
I mean, possibly.
No, because it says nope.
We can't know.
Nope. We do know because God says that he's the one who caused it to happen.
But let's take this logic to its natural end, TikTok, because what you're saying, let's somehow go through this like grape loophole and say that it's not grape, that they're consensually acting. What was maybe Delton? Maybe you want to tell him what the punishment is for adultery
I'm
and
sorry,
what
real
happens in
quick,
the
I
story.
interrupt.
Well,
Wait,
that's the thing
where
is
this
that he.
verse?
Yeah, let's say it's well. Let's say you think it was done consensually. You think it was consensual? What happened between David's wives and the person they had sex with? That wasn't David.
I'm sorry, can you give me this verse real quick? I can't find this verse.
I'll say it one last time for you. 2 Samuel 12, 11 through 12. That's the last time I'm saying it. It's on the screen.
Okay, thank you.
Now,
Okay,
you
I
think
found
that this was done, you think that this was a consensual act between David's wives and the person they had sex with?
Can you look up a definition for calamity of me real quick?
My God, answer my question. You don't get to ask me a question without first answering my question. I have something I would like to convey to you. After we get done doing that, then we can look up the word for calamity in Hebrew being ra. That's besides the point, though. I'm asking the question: is it your position that David's wives consensually had sex with this man that wasn't David, that wasn't their husband David?
I didn't hear that first part. Is it?
Okay. Is it your position that David's wives consensually had sex with this man that was not their husband, David?
Is it my position?
Yes. It's either that the sex was consensual, in which case it's not rape, or it's non-consensual, in which case God had them raped. Which position do you take?
Consensual.
Okay, good. What is the punishment for a woman who consensually sleeps with a man that's not her husband?
It's not a punishment, it's a sin.
No.
There's no
Nope,
punishment to it besides.
incorrect. Incorrect. There is a punishment in the law of Moses for a woman who commits adultery against her husband. Do you know what it is?
Mm-mm.
Surely you know, you've read the New Testament. There's a story in some versions of the Bible about Jesus having to deal with this.
I haven't read the entire Bible.
Okay, so the answer is in the law of Moses, if you are a woman who consensually sleeps with someone that's not your husband, you get stoned to death. You receive the capital punishment.
So there's obviously lots of metaphorical.
No, it's not.
Bible, I mean.
No, it's not metaphorical. There are stories where people are stoned to death. We're not debating whether or not stoning is lawful or not. That's not.
Okay, but we're talking about. Like,
I'm fine with the idea of capital punishment, although I don't think that this is a offense worthy of capital punishment. But it is not metaphorical. People were stoned to death in ancient Israel. Jesus had to stop it from happening once with the adulterous woman. Now, you will be stoned to death if you commit adultery. Question was, were David's wives stoned to death?
No.
Which would tell us what?
That doesn't mean it was not consensual.
No, it does. Because if it was consensual, then the just punishment, according to the law of Moses, is stoning. They weren't stoned, therefore, it wasn't consensual.
Should we maybe turn his attention to 1 Kings chapter 15?
Yeah, in case you want to make the claim that David just decided to not keep God's law and decided to not stone his wives, 1 Kings 15:5 specifically says that David always did what was right, except for the incident with Uriah. So, which means that David would have done what was right in regards to stoning his wives. So why weren't they stoned?
Actually, sorry, you didn't mention the verse after verse 12. It says, "Then David said to Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. Nathan replied, the Lord has taken away your sin. You are not going to die."
Yeah, David won't die. But guess what happened later on in the story? David's wives were raped by Absalom. The punishment that God issued still happened. David wasn't.
Where is that?
Yeah, you want me to pull it up?
Yes, please.
Yeah, here, let me pull it up real quick. Let's see.
I do just want to say, too, that the fact that you take this language and say that it cannot mean this just further perpetuates how Christian men are consistently engaging against harm against women.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're saying I engage in harm against women?
By engaging in this rhetoric, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But he just okay. He just accepts that. Of course he would. All right, it's going to be 2 Samuel 16, verses 20. Let's see. We have here. Then Absalom said to Ahithophel, "Give us your counsel. What shall we do?" Ahithophel said to Absalom, "Go into your father's concubines, the ones he has left to look after the house, and all Israel will hear that you have made yourself odious to your father, and the hands of all of who are on you will be strengthened." So they pitched a tent for Absalom upon the roof, and Absalom went into his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. Now in those days, the counsel of Ahithophel was as if one consulted the oracle of God. So all the counsel of Ahithophel was esteemed both by David and Absalom. So Absalom ended up raping David's wives, the concubines.
So when it says sleep with your father's concubines, is the father
David.
it's about David? Okay. And then
Absalom
so,
is David's son.
okay, yeah, that's episode advice. What should we do? Sleep with your father's concubines. Who?
So God set it up so that David's wives were raped. It's
See,
not good.
but
It's not good.
It's not God setting it up right here. It
Well,
says
Absalom
said to
God's,
Ahithophel.
but what did God say? God said he was going to cause it to happen, and it happened. So did God lie?
Okay, but Absalom was
hold
the
on,
one
hold
setting
on.
it up.
Okay, so you just had said that God can impose upon free will to make the women fall in love. Why couldn't God impose upon the free will of the men to not rape anyone? Like, this doesn't make sense to me. Why does God pick and choose any of these things?
Because it's, like I said, it's a free will thing. If he pick and choose on everything, then all sin is equal. All sin is equal. So if he can pick and choose,
no. Me stealing a loaf of bread to feed hungry children is not the same as a man raping innocent women.
And also, by the way, TikTok, that's not the Bible position. The Bible never says that all sin is equal.
It actually
doesn't. It doesn't. The closest you're going to get to that is James saying that if you broke one law, it's as if you've broken them all. That's not the same as saying they're all equal. Jesus, in fact, tells Pontius Pilate that those who hand me over to be crucified have the greater sin than you. So let's not go down that route. Now, again, you're being inconsistent about free will and in which scenarios God is allowed to infringe upon someone's free will. But again, God specifically said that he is the one who was going to cause this to happen. God says, I'm going to cause something to happen, and that thing happens later. And now you're saying that God wasn't the cause? Was God wrong, or was he lying?
Okay, but God knows everything that's going to happen throughout the entire future. God could have been telling him, yes, this will happen in your later future.
No, look at the words. I will raise up trouble against you. He doesn't say trouble will be raised against you. He says, I will raise it up against you.
Even if that's true, then now you commit to the fact that you have to tell children raped by adults that there was a reason for it because God allowed it.
Let's see.
You would have to commit to that. You would have to say that every rape that happens is therefore God chose it to happen, and it was good.
I never said it was good. Sin is not good.
Well, you would have
everything that God does is good. Everything God does is good. No,
and he's not infringing upon the free will. But he's not infringing upon the free will. And so when you don't act on something, that's an action.
God, that's the thing. God didn't.
But you made the excuse that God can see everything into the future.
Yes.
So therefore, when he intervenes, it's a good thing upon free will to convince women to sleep with someone else, right? That was your excuse. But he's not intervening in the rapist's free will. So therefore, there had to be an ultimate reason that this rape occurred. Therefore, you would say that this had to have been a good thing.
Now, luckily for us, TikTok, what you said is bullshit. And God explicitly says here, it says, Ko Amar Yahweh Hineni Me Kim Alicha Ra'ah. I will raise up evil against you. What does God mean when he says, I will raise up evil against you?
Himself.
Okay, so God's the cause of it.
In fact, TikTok, mekim, it's what's called the hifl stem of the verb kum. And the hifil stem, this verb stem, just means he's causing it to happen. It's not that he's watching it happen, allowing it to happen, instructing it to happen. He's causing it to happen. It's
So
causative.
David's
Okay,
wives
so
David's wives are raped. God says that he would cause it, and then it happens. Either God lied and he wasn't going to cause the rape and it just happened to happen, or God was mistaken, in which case you have to say that God is a liar or he doesn't have all knowledge, or he's evil.
can you give me like literally 2 seconds? I have my notes app and I have all my notes in there, and I have David written down. Can I go in there and check it real quick?
Sure. I don't know what your notes are going to do.
I'm just gonna see if I have any notes on this topic specifically.
Guys, no matter what happens, they'll end up having to concede to one point that either God lied, he changed his mind, or he's an evil prick who caused a woman to get raped. Oh, man. This is one of my favorite Bible topics to bring up.
Don't say it like that.
It is. It's my favorite topic because it's like, it's just,
I know what you mean by it.
it so shows the depravity, not only of God in the Bible, but the lengths to which Christians will go to in order to defend such depravity. Mr. Lonely, no, okay, Mr. Lonely, I'll say it again. Muhammad was a pedophile. I know you don't like the Bible, and you're justified in not liking the Bible, although your anti-Semitic statement there is kind of problematic. But guess what? Your prophet is a pedophile, and if there is a hell, I do hope he burned in it. For at least a little
Also,
bit.
Emperor says free Andrew Tate. I'm
Fuck
gonna
Andrew
take my
Tate.
mod power and I'm gonna block you because not
Yeah.
only did he admit to sex trafficking, there are videos of him beating women online.
Facts, yeah. Andrew Tate is a fucking idiot. I don't understand. I mean, I can only understand how the most insecure of men would find anything that Andrew Tate has to do or say attractive, because he's so obviously like insecure, right? No one walks around like
Okay,
that.
so I actually just checked and I don't know how, and I actually do have notes on this.
Oh, okay.
So,
What
I
are
have
your
them from-
how? Let's see how your notes make it to where Yahweh doesn't cause someone to rape another person.
Okay, I'm gonna go over there and read them real quick to my head so I remember them, and then I come like out.
Mr. Lonely, again, Mr. Lonely, there's no biblical evidence for that position. But even if it were true, then Isaac would be just as disgusting as your prophet. In fact, Mr. Lonely, I'm just going to mute you. And if you want to keep talking, you have to come up here and talk to me yourself. And I can like destroy your prophet and your religion just the same way that I do it with Christianity. Simple as that.
Okay, so
all right.
In my notes, it says that David secretly slept with
Bathsheba.
yeah. Yes.
Uh-huh.
We
Other
we
man's
know this. In fact, everyone knows this. We know the song Hallelujah, like Dalton mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I literally told this entire story at the beginning of this conversation.
And then arranged for her husband Uriah
To be killed in battle, yes.
Yes. So
Okay.
God judged David for.
Yeah, and the way that God judged David was by doing what?
Oh, the prophecy in Samuel 2 says that
12.
let me,
Samuel, 1 Samuel 12. Again, you got to stop doing this thing.
David's own household would suffer humiliation for this.
And who is the causation of that suffering according to the prophecy given?
And then it says later, David's son rebelled against him.
That was a question.
That's what I'm telling you right now.
And sorry, who was the question was who was the causation? The ultimate
David's son.
Well, who
David's
caused
son.
it? Well, no. What does 2 Samuel 12:11-12 say?
So I actually have a note for this. The reason God says "I" in it is because the word is meant to be harsh, to show the harsh punishment.
I will what?
Let me read it to you. My exact notes.
Well, you don't need to read. You don't need to read it to me. We all just read it. Ko amar Yahweh hineni mekum alecha ra'a. Thus saith the Lord, I will raise up trouble against you.
God said, God was declaring the judgment over him. Not saying he would personally commit
It's
a
great because
sexual sin.
I don't even have to be the one who mutes him. He keeps doing it to himself.
I know.
You know-
Even if this is the judgment, is the judgment just?
That's
Is
what-
that a good
yeah.
judgment?
Yeah, like we know that this is God's judgment. No one's questioning that. The question is whether or not God is being good and just when he does this judgment. Now, you already said at the beginning of this conversation that if someone causes an innocent person to be raped, that it's not good. Now, are you about to backtrack and say, like, as long as it's for the purpose of dispensing justice in quotes, because this isn't just by the definition of the word, that if someone's dispensing justice, suddenly now we can cause innocent people to get raped and it's good?
Okay, yep. So I found the reason for all this, actually. So,
Cool. What did the wives do?
David was a king.
Yeah.
What did the wives do?
TikTok. What did the wives do? The wives are the one who are you can call it David's punishment, but at the end of the day, it's the wives who are being raped. So the question is, what did the wives do to deserve this?
Okay, this is the thing. So, David was a king who had.
I didn't ask about David. What did the wives do? I don't care about what David did. The people.
I'm explaining this. Which one's
TikTok.
the wives?
TikTok. I don't care about what David did. Like, for example, let's say hypothetically, I hate that me and Ashland are married, and I go out and rob a bank. Should Ashland go to jail?
You're innocent.
Yeah, in this case, Ashland had no knowledge whatsoever that I was going to rob this bank. She didn't collaborate with it at all. In fact, she was somewhere else entirely different. If I rob the bank, should Ashland go to jail?
Can I please talk? So I can explain?
You can answer the
Don't let him
question.
do it.
Well, yeah, you can talk, and your talking should be answering the question because I don't like people that don't answer questions. So if I perform
I'm
a
going to say
crime,
a statement which will then answer the question.
is it better, or else I'm just going to ask you it again?
It will.
Okay, should Ashland go to jail? When you leave the screen, we can't hear you.
Okay, so David was the king. You know,
We're not talking about Dave. We're not talking about David. We're talking about me and Ashland.
I just told you my statement would get to the wives.
No, answer. No, not going to let you do it. I'm holding your feet to the fire. We're not doing this. Should Ashland go to jail for me robbing a bank?
That's just not at all the same as this.
Should Ashland go to jail for me robbing a bank?
No.
Should David's wives be raped for the crime of David? What did the wives do to deserve being raped? I don't care what David did because it's the wives who are receiving the punishment. They're the ones being raped. David's not being raped. I don't care what David did. What David does is irrelevant because under justice, the only person who is to be punished is the one who's guilty of the crime. So what did the wives do that they deserve to be raped?
He was punished.
I don't care about Dave. I don't care about David. What did the wives do to deserve this?
It's not morally good that they got the punishment for this, and it says that in the Bible. It says that in the Bible. That's not morally good.
Wait. God did something that wasn't morally good?
It was said in the Bible that this was not morally good.
So did God do something that wasn't morally good? You cannot. Every time you refuse to answer the question, I will just ask it again until you do answer. I don't know if you're not. Maybe you're not familiar. Maybe other atheists might let you get away with this, but on this show, we don't let people get away with not answering questions.
I need to check my notes on whether God is good or not, guys.
So, God did something
So
that
it says in my notes that God can bring evil against David, but evil does not necessarily mean morally bad. It just means a disaster upon his life. Which
is it morally bad to cause innocent women to be raped?
It's a disaster upon his life.
Is it morally wrong for someone to cause innocent women to be raped?
It's, like I said, it's a disaster.
Is it morally wrong to cause an innocent woman to be raped? Calamities and disasters are natural events that no one causes. But in this case, God is exactly causing a woman to be raped who did nothing. Is it morally acceptable to cause an innocent woman to be raped?
No.
So
then God's morally culpable. Congratulations. Congratulations. I might be a deist in this hypothetical, but I certainly don't believe your God exists because he's not good.
So it was the
Wait, I just want to
son's-
recap.
it was the
I
son's
just want to
moral
recap.
sexual sin, not God's.
It's
God
but
did not
the
commit
the
sin.
women are being punished. My guy, like listen, you just said that it wasn't bad that women, innocent women, were raped for a man's fucking action. Hear that repeatedly in your head and realize what you just answered.
I've just been waiting to talk this entire time.
I don't give a shit. We don't give a shit what David did. It's one thing if David gets raped, it's still not acceptable. But if David got raped, then David would be the one being punished. But these women did nothing. These women did nothing. And God is causing them to get raped for something David did. You can call that a punishment for David all you like, but I wonder how the women felt about it. Did they feel, oh, poor David that we got raped? No. Your God's disgusting. Your God's a moral monster. And I
Actually,
definitely
the God-
don't believe in him.
The Bible.
Thank you. I thought that was a good place to end the conversation. That one's going on TikTok.
And I wonder why that when Christians cry, why do you see us as misogynist? Because you have to bend over backwards to defend the actions of the God that you serve that consistently and repeatedly does harm to women. Consent is never asked for. It's never a consideration. It is a consistent factor in both the Old and the New Testament.
Yeah. Well, guys, we are half an hour over. I stayed longer just so I could absolutely roast MK on this topic and show the moral depravity of his God. I got to start doing that. I used to do this a lot when I started the channel. I need to start doing it again. Just like concede the idea that a God exists and be a deist, and then have them prove that Yahweh specifically exists, because they can't do it. All right, it's so much fun. Well, that way we actually get to. I was able to drive the conversation back to the Bible doing that. Fantastic, love that. I got to start doing that again. All right, I want to thank Styx and Ashland and Johnny for coming up tonight and joining me on the panel. I want to thank our mods for all their hard work tonight, both on TikTok and YouTube. We're not able to keep it tame here on the Bible Guy Show. Well, tame for the Bible Guy Show is something different. I literally got a picture of a dildo on the side of my picture here. But hey, I appreciate all your hard work, everyone. I want to thank all the super chatters for all your super chats today. This show is possible only because of viewers like you. And with that, let's see who's live tonight that we can send you guys off to. Let's see.
It's like Boma's on.
Thinker is on.
Thinker. We did a Boma one last night. So, oh shit, another black man found hung from a tree.
That's fucked up. Yeah.
And we're gonna repost that because, draw attention
Black
to that.
individuals do not hang themselves. Period. And blank.
Now, everyone,
End
we're
of
gonna send our raid over to Thinkers Live since we sent our live over to Boma last night. So everyone, go over to Thinkers Live. Tell them that the Bible Guy sent you. In fact, I think I will be working with Thinker this upcoming Saturday. Let me check my schedule, everyone. Let me take a look. Go over to view schedule. And I gotta log in as the Bible Guy. Let's see. Schedule. This upcoming Saturday, which is the 29th. Yes, the Bible Guy and Thinker will be live together on the Devangelical Show at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on the line this Saturday. Make sure you do not miss it. But anyways, go over to the Thinker's channel right now. Let her know that the Bible Guy says, hi, how you doing, Thinker? Can't wait to work with you. And with that, I've been the Bible Guy. Remember to keep reading, keep learning, And we will see you all again tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye.
Born from dust and questioning fire, wielding truth like a sword of desire. Ancient scrolls and cosmic flame, he tears through myth, he breaks the chain. Echoes of prophets, the stars align, knowledge and thunder intertwine. Reason ascends where blind faith fell, he reads the word and he reads it well. The Bible guide, seeker of the light, through time and fire he rides the night, with reason's blade and wisdom's cry. The world shall hear the Bible guide. Scrolls of ages, words aflame, he dares to question